island are black. Navy blue check. Jakama. 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 That's it, bro. That's it, bro. One got you are confused. The love is too much. 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 Jakama. Jakama. Let's go. For the island are black. Navy blue check. Jakama. 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 That's it, bro. That's it, bro. One got you are confused. The love is too much. 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 Jakama. Jakama. Let's go. For the island are black. Navy blue check. Jakama. 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 That's it, bro. That's it, bro. One got you are confused. The love is too much. 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 Jakama. Jakama. Let's go. For the island are black. Navy blue check. So it didn't have a better car, Doka Jadi for a fight here, to Waka Berry right to allow people. So didn't have moving any yes man, I've been a video, Kokolo Yuba. It don't go by, she and it's a I like that you were nigga Gawara and confirm a palafia to work. So Kidas Benicam so less why you quickly see Ganica. Ne aje kala gbole ba pátápátá lápapọ̀ láti máa béèrè ẹ jẹ́ ká dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ governor Ogun State náà fúnra wọn náà sọ pé àwọn nífẹ̀ẹ́ wọ́n fi hàn pé àwọn nífẹ̀ẹ́ àwọn tí àwọn ń ṣèjọba lé lórí because tí governor bá nífẹ̀ẹ́ àwọn mẹ̀kúnnù tó ń ṣèjọba lé lórí Ogun State kò ní gbà wá láì pé ká wá fèsì àwọn Fulani herdsmen náà so fúnra ìjọba ló sọ pé ó ti tó gẹ́ fáwọn Fulani herdsmen torí pé àwọn tóun ń ṣèjọba lé lórí lẹ́ ń pa so ìdí ni ìta fi wá sóògùn State lé ní. ṣé táwọn pàdé tẹ́tí ní gómìnà báyìí. mi tí ì rí wọn but èmi ò pé ibi tójú ìjà bá wà lẹ́ka kọ́kọ́ lọ tàbá lé àwọn Fulani tàbá lé tán a máa padà lọ bá ìjọba láti fi wọn. àtẹwọ́. a ń lọ sí yewa lánàá báyìí torí pé a rí pé ibẹ̀ gangan ni àwọn Fúlàní ajínigbé yìí ni wọ́n ti ń ṣe jàǹbá fún àwọn ọmọ Ògùn State púpọ̀ jù tó ibẹ̀ gangan là ń lọ sí báyìí.
a gbọ́ pé àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá wọ́n gbàgbọ́ sí ṣóòtọ́ ni àbí ẹ rí support látọ̀mọ́ Yorùbá.
èmi ò tí ì rí Yorùbá kankan tí mo lè sọ pé gbàgbọ́ ni ṣe ti understand because gbogbo Yorùbá ló dìde ìjà bá ń jà ìjà gbogbo Yorùbá ni ẹ lè rí pé àti mùsùlùmí àti Christian gbogbo ẹnìbọn ní ń jà kì í ṣe pé jà Ìgbòho nìkan gbogbo wa là ń jà gbogbo Yorùbá ló ń jà kì í ṣe pé Yorùbá kan ń gbé àbọ̀dẹ̀fẹ́ nìkan kan lábẹ́ dúpẹ́ lọ́gbọ́ àwọn tó wà ní diaspora rí gbogbo ọ̀nà dìde tán so gbogbo àwọn ọba náà ti dìde gbogbo àwọn ọba ti dìde everybody ti dìde kò sí pé bóyá Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò náà dìde ó ń bínú so gbogbo àlà ń bínú papọ̀ kì í ṣe pé Yorùbá kan ń ságbàbọ̀dẹ̀ so ìjà tá ń jà ìjà gbogbo Yorùbá ni ọ̀dẹ̀ ti dópin ẹ̀ náà kò tẹ̀ náà.
They were saying that when they went to Japan, he nearly tripped or something. He was walking. It was a bit wobbly there. But, you know, we talk about institutions that work. He can sit in his room just like that, and everything will be working the way it's supposed to, because their institutions are robust enough. But what about ours? Okay, Bishop Adesina says a dropout secondary school student in Ekiti State, Yoruba land, southwest Nigeria, generate electricity powering a full house and gadget using 2 stones located beside the house. My goodness, how did he do that? That'll be interesting. I want pictures of it. That'll be great. That'll be great. So that we can promote that individual, and even, if possible, try to see whether we can get him to be interviewed by Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Let me see, give him some international exposure. Let's see what happens from there. He can do something. What about that? But this all coming away from Starr Radio UK. In other stories, Russia battles armed group in border region. Now, yesterday there was that thing there. I was a bit scared. I was like, what is happening there? But more is going to be coming your way. UK reject calls to return Ethiopian prince's body. Well, why are they rejecting the call to do so? Why have they kept the Ethiopian prince's body? Okay. Moving on to the UK front proper. Now, police attacked in riots after teens killed in a crash. The link between the death and the disorder remains unclear, a police boss has said. Now, we're going to tell you more about that. Dominic Raab to stand down as MP at next election. And Madeleine McCann's police begin reservoir search. Divers enter the waters, which are about 30 miles from where the toddler went missing 16 years ago. Well, they want closure. So what about that? Prince Harry loses challenge to pay for security. Home Office says wealthy individuals should not be able to buy security from the police. Okay, so you can come and hire me. Yes, myself, Olayomi Koiki, Mr. Francis Gaye, and a few of us. We can get on, can't we? All right, we can protect him like no man's business. All right, and before we take a musical break and then get Mr. Olayomi Koiki to join in, Bishop Adesina says, poor talented boy, full with animals, treasure, and skills, but in a wrong country, who careless of him, despite in need of his productivity. Bishop, if you can get a picture of him, and then as I'm saying, I promise that one for sure. We'll try to see where we can get Olayomi Koiki to interview him. I can interview him on our the morning show, and then we can interview him on the Niger Voices as well, and we'll see how best we can be of help, so that something good can come out of him. We've got people who are so talented, but our system said that it's like you know the story about Jesus saying the sower going around and just throwing the seedlings around. Now there are some of the soil is very good. You throw it there, and then the ground is nice and everything, and the seed, the plant begins to grow. But then there are these thorns that seem to be. And that is how our system, our governance system seems to be like. And it just holds you and pierces you and hold you down, and nothing good comes out of you. But if he's been able to do that, wow. Can you just imagine, given the proper environment, what he can do? My goodness. All right then. So it is Starr Radio UK. We'll take a musical break. We come back and we'll be having Mr. Olayomi Koiki joining in. And this is from the one and only Elijah, and it says, Jesus, you never fail. Hallowed be your name. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned. Don't you go out.
Sorry for those of you who didn't get the audio at all earlier on. I hope everything is working because I don't know why we're getting double screen on the YouTube. I'm not too sure why. T big screen you are delayed. Let me see. Okay, why is it not showing? Why is it showing that on the screen? I don't get it. Let it show proper screen. What's going on there? Something is not right somewhere. Let me see the Facebook. I'm doing a lonely magic. I'm doing a magic. Something is not right. I don't know what is going on there. Something is stopping the screen from showing. I don't know what is going on. So let's see. Let's use another one. There's a kind of something disturbing the screen. I don't know whether it's me. Let's see this one. I think this should work now. Yeah, I think that is working now. Yeah. But something is not right on the big screen. I hope that you can see. It's better now. So we can call the studio now. We've lost 7 minutes already. Let's go. Sorry guys. Let's shut this down. What's going on? Close. Alright, sorry. Alright, let's call Archie. And let's do the program.
The broadcast is about Africa, and that's really something that you can say, really, now that you can see. Therefore, one have the opportunity to actually celebrate our kind and do something about that. Why not? Come on, do that. This one coming from Starr Radio Uk. Tuesday edition of the morning show. 8 minutes past 11 time. Now means that I've got the one and only, the white lion song. Restore life in now. So let me say good morning to you, Mr. Jones. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. Good morning to you, Mr. Archie, and a very good morning to all our listeners and viewers from around the world. And welcome once again to the Starr Radio UK network, the African and Caribbean radio station in London, as we prepare for the morning update from Nigeria.
Okay. Hope you had a good night.
Yes, I do. As you try to get 8 hours sleep, I think by the time you wake up, you are just ready to fire on all the cylinder. I went to bed just at about 2100 hours, and I believe that is the medical line that you must have that 8 hours, apart from maybe some kind of notification that could come through the phone. As long as it's not emergency, you can always just stop that notification. So I woke up just about 5 o'clock in the morning, and we believe that we've already done justice to some of the conversation, especially when it comes to Nigeria, because Nigeria is going through a new transition, and there's all eyes on Nigeria as we speak right now. This is exactly what we're going to be doing again this morning.
All right, more eyes on Nigeria this morning. So wherever you are, let your eyes also be on Starr Radio Uk, as we also bring you everything that you need to go. With Mr. Live, quite getting our Northland and Seniors, and particularly in the South Sudan, so we bring you after Nigeria on the morning show. And let's go on straight. Well, Joe Biden's administration seems to have endorsed Tinubu now, because earlier we had a what do you call it, breaking and making, a call to Tinubu. That was last week. Yes, last week. And then we did talk about that, and because it seems to be that Tinubu's camp were waiting for that endorsement. Now, not only the endorsement, but the president has gone on to release a list of delegation that is coming to the inauguration.
You wonder why the president himself is not coming down to this powerful inauguration, because as long as they keep telling us that Nigeria is the most populous black nation in the world, so you would expect Joe Biden to make the trip, but Joe Biden is facing a lot back in the U.S., especially with the debt in America. But apart from that, they've put up a very powerful delegation that will be attending the presidential inauguration that is coming up on the 29th of May, which is just 6 days. So we are now countdown. Mr. Biden has announced the designation of a presidential delegation to attend the inauguration of President-elect Bola Tinubu. So that gives that as much as we saw the call came through from Anthony J. Blinken last week, now the confirmation that America is not waiting for any petition outcome, they are going ahead, to fulfill what democracy means to them by allowing the inauguration that the Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari is putting together, because there is now what we call change of guard, which have already continued in Abuja. Who are those that will be attending? Mr. Joe Biden today announced this delegation. The Honorable Michelle Hood is the Secretary of the United States Department of the Housing and Urban Development, will lead this delegation. Members of the presidential delegation also have Mr. David Green, who is actually in charge of the U.S. Embassy in Abuja, the Honorable Sidney Kamalak, the Dove, United States Representative, Democrat in California. Honorable Marisa Lago is the Undersecretary of Commerce of International Trade. Remember that the U.S. wants as many trade with Nigeria, and now that Tinubu is going to be taking over, that trade must continue as well. General Michael Langley is the commander of the U.S. African Command. I remember it was questioned surrounding the Americans' training in some countries that eventually had led to coup, like Guinea. The Honorable Enoch Tombong is the director of the United States Trade and Development Agency. Honorable Mary Kathleen, Assistant Secretary of the State for the Bureau of African Affairs, and Honorable Jude, Development Special Assistant to the President, and also the Senior Director for African Affairs and the National Security Council. And the last person is Honorable Mode Muyonga, is the Assistant Administrator for the Bureau of Africa. So you can tell that most U.S. Agency for International Development, so most of those that are coming down have got a link to Joe Biden when it comes to Africa.
Well, listen, it's quite an interesting delegation there. And that this endorsement actually make the tribunal case fall flat on the face. What do you think?
Well, the tribunal case itself since it has always been the nature of Nigeria, going to court. I mean, Buhari went to court a few times until 2015 when Jonathan did not, decide to allow any uproar. So Jonathan admitted, but this one, in terms of the petition, which is still ongoing, there is no outcome yet. Maybe when the outcome finally comes, maybe Joe Biden will send another delegation when the president will be changed to the new one if that election petition goes against Bola Tinubu. But it shows that, American is not waiting for that. But like I said, should that happen then we might be having the history of Nigeria running two presidential inauguration, one on the May 29th, but definitely the other one is not going to happen on the May 29th. That is if only the election petition result changes. Joe Biden might probably have to pull those that are coming down and allow maybe a rerun, because rerun is not something new. Turkey is just going to be doing a rerun in the next couple of days because there was not a very clear outcome to their presidential election that occurred last week.
And in Kenya, it did happen a few years back where the tribunal or the Supreme Court ruled that every one of the election policy and normal is there. But let's see what happens. If you're listening to us, I want you to put your comments there. Do you think that there is a need for the opposition parties, let's put it that way, or do Atiku and Bijorobi to still pursue against the tribunal, and the tribunal they have just abandoned it because after all, the big wigs or wigs in the world have actually endorsed to put it up with the cabinet of this morning. Let us know about that. I think your care Oladiyi Obanira, yes, that's what I thought you as well. Hope you are doing very, very well. Okay. Now let's move on to some of the other stories making around this morning. And that pertains to the Naira. So that maybe having a list coming out from the United States of America and everything, that actually to actually endorse or bump up the Naira rate on the global market. So that a bit of surety that the big banks are actually endorsing them. And most of the time, those are the things that actually the country's currency up. But it doesn't look to be that way. Fell by 0.11%.
Well, Naira continue to the value of the Naira, continue to drop. Not because of anything, it's because the economy of Nigeria relies on little bit or no more of importation. And if you're importing the major aspect of what you're using in the country, if you rely on more on importation, that would literally mean that the economy would have a big impact, on Naira. Like I said, the pound sterling as of today is about almost 940 Naira to a pound. But what is the news saying, regarding, this issue of Naira? It seems that the headline again this morning says, the Naira begins on a flip side against the dollar. Emefiele, the central bank governor, was speaking yesterday at the inauguration of the Dangote refinery that took place with a lot of dignitary right there. And he was actually saying that Nigeria is going to be saving about almost 30 million, if not $billion, regarding the new project that I believe $30 billion in terms of what we're going to be saving. But at the moment, when they talk about the parallel market, this is the exchange rate in the bank, but that does not mean that if you go into the Nigerian bank today and you need about $5,000, you'll be able to get that out. Naira on Monday depreciated against the dollar at the exchange rate of 463.50 naira. Again, this is the official bank rate, but I can assure you that any Nigerian student coming to UK or traveling outside the country will not be able to get any dollar because you'll be told to go to the black market, which you will end up paying about almost 700 to 800 naira, for the same, exchange rate at the investors and the exporters windows. What we then can say is that the local currency decreased by 0.11% as against 463 naira. It's exchanged for the dollar at the close of the business, on Monday. The naira sold as low as 460 naira to a dollar within the trade as well. A total of $106.84 million was actually traded at the official investors and exporter window. These are those that rely more on the dollar, for their businesses. Either you are bringing in pharmaceutical, materials into the country, or you are bringing in importation of goods. Then you would have to source for that huge amount. We're not talking about $5,000, $10,000 here. We're talking about businesses and investors that really need that dollar. Even the airline were stuck at some point because they couldn't move their money out of Nigeria. And we saw some of the airlines removing their services in Nigeria, which eventually led to where, the CBN quickly, injected money so that we can have this airline to continue to operate. Starr Radio UK, I'll come back again to you in the studio.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olaimi Kwekina, not that this was much again in South Sudan, we are bringing update from Nigeria. Interesting. So, this morning, have you been to Mr. Olaimi Kwekina, not that this was much again in the South? Have you seen any changes in that? Or is it a kind of been in place in the nation and therefore go to bed, you wake up the next day, everything seems to be going up, or you go there in an hour and you go back at the private of Gary, or everything seems to be skyrocketing. What do you think about all that? Let us be a All right, then. Now let's move on to some other stories as well. Now, interestingly, the grandmother was killed by the military from being thrown from her property downstairs. And then one of the lines of guy, but he had so much trouble with the military. Now, this gentleman who was what picture you can see
Seun Kuti.
there, Sean also had a banter with a police officer slapping the police officer, which we will not according to do so. Okay, don't do that. But they are the ones, they are supposed to be custodians of the law. If they put something else, we have to find another way of taking redress them. But I mean, why is it that the prosecution decided not to attend court, whether deliberately or they were late or something happened, and then the judge, instead of maybe saying that, okay, let's try to deal, let it go, and then we'll call him back or something, decided, no, we might join the case. So, to when?
Well, not too long. I mean, he will be returning back again to the court tomorrow as the court has adjourned Seun Kuti trial to Wednesday tomorrow, the 24th. Like you said, the situation with Seun Kuti seems that the Nigerian police is trying to use him as a scapegoat so that, another Nigerian will not attempt such. And even though, like you said, we do not condone that, from here, but the question again is, we've seen a lot atrocity that the Nigerian police have committed. But Justice Adiola Olatubosu, that is the Chief Magistrate Court in Yaba, in Lagos State, has reportedly adjourned the trial of the Afrobeat musician Seun Kuti to Wednesday, May 24. The trial, which has been slated for today, was said to have been adjourned as a result of the judge absent from the court, according to the source that played, not to be mentioned. The trial has now been adjourned. The question is that Seun Kuti was trying to get a bail, after the incident happened. It's going to almost a week now, if not a little bit more. But it seems the police want to keep him there for as much as possible until the trial kickstarts. I mean, he has been granted bail, to some sum of money, and then, people that have property close to the court premises. But it seems, like I said, the judge is not there, so we can't blame the court. It seems that maybe the judge could be, doing something else. We don't have that information. But what we can say is that, the police are now still going to wait for the final outcome of whether Seun Kuti will be found guilty or he will be asked to pay a kind of a fine, but that again will be confirmed tomorrow. But for now, Seun Kuti has been returned again back into the custody of the police in Lagos State.
Okay, so clarification from there. I didn't say the prosecution, not the prosecution. The chief magistrate has finalized because it put across. So the chief magistrate will not attend the court, and of course, it is his court, and therefore it is not there. And then much cannot be done about it. So, well, at times, people they like doing this legal gymnastics, or acrobatic, as I would say that they want to keep doing it there, so they found it then up, and they continue to keep it there. All right then. It is Starr Radio Uk. It is the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Let's talk alive because we are not planning this as much in the South Sudan. And UK Special Forces operated security.
Well, we know that there's a cordial, good relationship between the US, the UK, the European Union, the African Union. But the report coming out this morning say the United Kingdom Special Forces have been operating secretly in Nigeria, according to the latest report. The British Special Air Service and European countries and other special forces have literally operated clandestinely in Nigeria and 18 other nations over the past 12 years, according to the research. It could be recalled that in 2012, a group of the SBS commandos attempted and failed to rescue a Briton and Italian that was held by the Islamic group in Nigeria. The British SAS also operates secretly in Algeria, Estonia, France, Oman, Iraq, Kenya, Libya, Mali, Cyprus, Pakistan, Somalia, Philippines, Russia, Syria, Ukraine, Yemen, and most recently in Sudan. This is coming actually from the news here in UK, by the mail. A UK Special Force provided non-combat support during the French military action against the jihadist group in Mali. They also trained the Nigerian, Moroccan, Cameroon soldiers and collected intelligent threat assessment in response to the increase. The elite military unit don't have UK Minister of Publicity certifying their operations, thus they operate covertly, but based on the media leak, a research organization called Action on Gun Violence has now compiled a list of the operation from 2011, adding up to May 23rd, report the title as Britain's Special Forces on Service in at least 19 countries. It gives the impression that the Prime Minister and the Defense Secretary frequently send personnel of the SAS and the Special Boot Service and the Special Reconnaissance Regiment on dangerous operation, usually when Britain is not at war, according to the Guardian UK reporting this morning.
It's interesting because it looks like the presidency, that is, or the federal government, didn't know that operation was right.
Well, not literally that they do know, because most of the time, if this is covered, the federal government might not even be aware that they are operating, or probably maybe one or two people is aware, but they probably keep that as a secret.
Well, because I was looking at it and looking at all these people and the headsmen who cross the borders and come to the country and all that stuff, they said they don't know. I mean, they said that the borders are porous and the whole country. So if people who are very sophisticated, none of the ground, nobody will know. So what? This is a Starr Radio Uk. Now, this one is Naira fell from 745 Naira to 760 within a week in the local market. As this appreciate Yoruba Nation Ruba looking ahead, knowing Ruba uses dollar network. Okay, that's USDT PRC 20. It goes on to say Naira operates two different value. The national value is 450 Naira, local value is 760 Naira. It goes on to say that's why Nigeria CBN restricts Nigerian from annexing Visa card or MasterCard only use alternative below the shine operating the local prices. Thank you very much, Mr. Keep the comments coming.
And if you're buying on some of the, the big network like Alibaba, you cannot buy more than $20 from Nigeria.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
There's a restriction.
There's a restriction here. So that is a big problem for those that are trying to purchase goods worth up to $100. You have to buy them in bit by bit, which is different from what we do here, where you can easily spend up to £300 buying anything from Alibaba. But again, in Nigeria, is a different thing. So there is a dollar restriction, and it's having a big impact on the investors and those that are doing their small-scale businesses from outside. Because I do have a family friend that do a lot of shopping online from there, but every time she has to purchase, she cannot spend more than $20 at a go.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio Uk, and it's web. So you see those of us here, the advantage that we have. Yeah. Good. This listener says that corruption from highest order is interest of course. But it's the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Let's go back to Joey for the rest of the story. Over to you, Joe.
Well, as the operation for the inauguration is now on a full scale, it's also going to have a lot of security, especially as dignitaries will be traveling to Nigeria within the next 6 days. So the preparation continues. Inauguration. The SSS police have now asked to arrest Nigerians making insightful anti-Tinubu comments. This is actually coming just 6 days before the inauguration. No one can stop the inauguration of Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president-elect, scheduled for May 29. Ade Omole, the director of the defunct diaspora director of the APC Presidential Campaign Council, has now asked security agency to arrest APC opponent for inciting public against President Tinubu. He's not yet even the president yet. It's just about 6 more days. And you can tell that the media, will be something that we will monitor, while Tinubu becomes the president. No one can stop it. We know that. But the APC director added, we are confident that security agency have the capacity to deal ruthlessly with any breach and therefore call on them to arrest such persons immediately. Nobody's asking for anybody to disturb the peace of the inauguration, but we know that during the campaign, the APC media campaign were trying to push one of the media in Nigeria to be arrested and even removed, because he was not of the same view with the APC. So that is coming from the headline this morning. Governors-elect protest as the outgoing governors shun transition panel. That is coming. We do know that some governors are going to be returning themselves back because they've won their second time, like the Lagos State and the Ogun State. But there are some governors that will be also leaving because, the development have either made them not to come back because of the 8 years, or some that have lost the post. They are now strong indication that the transition process is not going smoothly in many states, as the outgoing governors are allegedly not cooperating with their successors. Following the development, the panel set up by the incoming governors are asking questions on the financial conditions of the state, thus generating tension. Also, Akeredolu, the governor of Ondo State, is already crying out that the 1999 constitution must now be looked into, or if not, power must be devolved to state, and likewise curb importation. That is coming from the Ondo State governor and likewise the governor forum for the Southwest. Akeredolu, 1999 constitution, states have now been reduced to pathetic beggars. This was actually saying through one of his, his media aid at an event yesterday, celebrating the 59th Founders Day Anniversary Lecture Award and the endowment of Adeyemi Federal University. This is what he has to say. The governor, who spoke through his special advisor on the union matters and special duties, Mr. Dari, said there will be no end to the miseries of the people unless the basic law was tinkered with to reposition the country to prepare the production of goods and services. He also said a defected law cannot endanger peace and progress. It is more often than not the source of the seemable intractable crisis. There can be no development in a place where the law and its application are not straight line, also called squid, heavily against the majority of the people. When the law becomes an instrument of repression, society is in peril. So it shows that, as so many people have been talking about the 1999 military diktat, it seems now that some of the governors are likewise getting the message as well. At 11:34, we go straight and take more. Not a very good news coming again from the southeast part, Ebonyi State. Gunmen attack checkpoint and a police officer has been killed and 2 of them have been injured as well. Benue State residents have recovered 5 more corpses as the death tolls now hit 22 in what we call herdsmen assault. Benue State, just as Plateau State, continue to be one of those 2 states that are going through a lot when it comes to the assault and the activities of the herders in those states. The breakdown yesterday by the paper showed that 3 children, 2 women were killed and burnt in their houses, while 13 men and 4 soldiers were also killed. The death toll in the armed herdsmen attack on Iyeri village in Ovia Council Ward in Guma local government area of Benue State has now increased to 22. The breakdown on Tuesday showed that the 3 children, 2 women were killed and burnt in their houses. What a very sad situation, as we continue to hope that the peace will reign. But the question is, how will peace reign when the danger is already surrounding every single one of us? We're going to take one more, then go straight to the social media to find out what is happening this morning, as Nigerians are all gluing to continue to monitor the 6 days before the inauguration, or, as we say, is anything going to change as the election petition continue in the country as well? Once again, this is Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So when we go straight into the Twitter this morning to see what Nigerians are saying and the reaction so far, the Supreme Court is trending, and you can tell the reason why the Supreme Court is trending. And it's not just trending; it's trending at about almost 134,000 tweets so far this morning. It shows that Nigerians are still expecting a better outcome as well. Lawrence Okoro say on May 26th, Bola Tinubu will be disqualified over Shetima's double nomination by the Supreme Court. I'll be giving out this lovely car to one of my obedient followers. Wow. It seems that he's also guaranteed that he wants to give her the car if that is going to happen. Yesterday, again, the sad reality is that majority of the Nigerian people do not trust the judiciary anymore when it comes to the political cases. Supreme Court will forget that the judiciary is the last hope of a common man and give a flawed judgment from the Hope Uzodinma to Senator Lawan K. So it seems that already is a divided situation. David Odoye says, as revealed plans by Tinubu to make Buhari declare public holiday on Friday, May 26th, so as to stop the judgment by the Supreme Court. Well, we don't have information to that, but we're looking forward to see how that is going to happen. Omo Olodumare, Tinubu Chapo plans for Nigeria, what to expect in his presidency, I believe with another video that has been put together. Maybe we should listen to that as we take more from the social media. Once again, this is still Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station. So this video has been put together, and this is what the video soundtracks looks like. Tinubu will be able to recruit 50 million youth into the military, and then they'll be able to eat eba, gari, and cassava, as he said during his manifesto. And there's also many things that we're going to be monitoring as soon as it comes into the the realms of affairs, because manifesto is very, very important. Buhari did promise 3 good things before he came in 2015: corruption, security, and rebranding the economy. He has woefully failed in the 8 years of his running affairs of Nigeria. And he's also saying now that the affairs will be continued by Tinubu, because governance is continuity. Starr Radio UK, I come again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Line again and offline. We're going to the what you call it, media platform in a moment. But it's interesting there. Gary and everything, and some calling in Tinubu Chapo. Now, you know, Chapo is one of the drug so people are trying to look on him that way. But Pastor Paul says, madman, he said, let's see, go and eat cassava, Gary, okay. This one says, what Tinubu? Okay, now he says first, he said, he foresaw, putting his clergy hat on, Roy is a bishop, putting his clergy hat on, he foresaw that Nigerians were crying for 4 years and that Tinubu's power reign. So he foresees that. So what are we going to be doing to actually make sure that, like Joseph, when Pharaoh had a dream in the Bible, that Joseph went to interpret the dream, he told them what do people do now? So what people will only be able to do is to keep managing the administration of the state and will not be able to improve anything. And it goes on to economically, people will be facing tension to pay previous government loans for payment in full. The first man in office is unprepared for. Finance Minister already said they have no money. Naira is only 1,000 naira dollar soon. So that means he's just saying that money will allow it yours. Now, what do you think about all that? Not coming away from Starr Radio Uk. But tell me, as a people and Joby, double two parts, have they been invited to the
Well, I haven't seen the invitation list, and I'm not too sure whether even if they're invited, they will accept such an invitation, because we do know that for them, they believe that the election has still not been conducted in the line of Nigeria Constitution, where some of them argue that the FCT is 25%. Tinubu did not get the 25%. But whether Tinubu will try to put, and to say, just let's move the country forward, we will have to wait and see. But we do know that Atiku and Peter Obi have not made that call yet. But Tinubu could be putting a good hand by saying, just come and witness at least the dignitary that will be coming, and let's see how this goes on in terms of change of power.
Okay, and has the American the Secretary of State and all those people, the delegation that is coming in, are they going to have a meeting with, but most of the time when it's things like that, they can have a meeting with the opposition as well, so that it seems to be calming things down. Is there any news pertaining to that at all?
Well, we've seen that just after the election, the U.S. government, try as quickly as possible so that Nigeria probably doesn't go into flames, by calming things down, that say, let us go through the process of court, rather than, going onto the street, and destabilize the democracy that is currently, in the process. And they were happy that at least the transition of democracy in Nigeria is still very stable as against other African countries where we've seen military coup that have occurred, and that have destabilized, the democracy. So the last thing America, the US, the West and the other African Union will want is, the destabilization of democracy in Nigeria, because it will have a ripple effect across the West Africa and further into the east part of Africa.
And that allusion that May 26th is the day that the court tribunal is going to do the ruling. How to do that?
Well, there's always a lot of truth in any rumor, but sometimes it could just be a speculation. regardless of whether Tinubu is inaugurated, and then if the court comes back and decide that he's not meant to be the one there, then he would have no other option than to vacate that office. I think what they're just probably to say is that they want to stop that before May 29. How all this is going to happen, we're just 6 days. We will all have to wait and see. But in terms of the 26th, I can just say maybe it's just another rumor, or it could just be those that have the back inside information are probably pushing for that. But if Buhari goes ahead and then grant that day as a public holiday, then the truth will probably be behind what they've said already.
Well, let's see what is going to happen. 2020 says, well, you know what? I will support you if he makes a human man director of custom for the first time in the history of the country. So, and human man has never had the top job when it comes to customs. You know what I mean? Is that true?
Well, not just custom. There's a lot of places that the Yorubas have not been given opportunity, to serve. Not just the Yorubas, also, the other ethnic groups as well. And these are the nepotism that are played, especially in the government of President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm trying to see if the engineer can give us the last video behind our camera scene where Buhari was dressing in his very good outfit. I believe he's winding down, as we know. Yes, Tinubu coming in will change a lot of things, in terms of whether it's the security architect that we've seen, or probably maybe the custom. The Nigerian custom has been held, like a family affair, to the northern part of Nigeria. That is not going to happen, but that is subject to what Tinubu will believe, whether to continue with the person there or change it around. But again, as we say, that is President Muhammadu Buhari just at the back there doing the final, I believe he's doing the final work. I'm not too sure what he's doing yet, but you can tell, let's bring that a little bit. So that is the President Muhammadu Buhari there, with that beautiful final outfit as he's going through, a little bit of walking there. This was on his official Twitter yesterday, and I'm trying to figure out, because I know he was in Dangote refinery, but all they've said is President Fleet Review. Okay, is reviewing the President Fleet. And yes, the President Fleet as well, we've seen a lot of accident that has happened in there as well, and some losses as well. So that is, President Buhari there, inspecting, some of the fleet. Whether Tinubu will be able to get rid of some of the fleet, because Buhari told us he was going to do that, but he never did, but he's now winding down finally. So yes, the information says Buhari was checking the fleet, as you can see there, in a full military wear.
Okay, listeners, we'll go back to Yomi for the rest of the story. But Yomi, you know that this story is a very sad one. Let me just start with that one and then we go on. Nigeria loses 2,500 children daily from lack of skilled evidence. I mean, big one. I mean, can you tell us about that?
Well, when we don't have, the first basic healthcare to look after, someone that is pregnant, because when you're pregnant, the very first stage of pregnancy is very, very important. And I believe this report was coming, even though I've missed where that report was, but, I saw it from the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo this morning. The reason why a lot of Nigerians, died or children died is because of that first basic hospital that is not available, especially in the rural area. When we looked at, the one that we show at the time, these are the kind of healthcare facilities that is not up to standard that as many of our rural communities are managing. This is being put together by, one of the governors, Fayemi, that just completed his tenure in Ekiti State. So that would literally mean that more Nigerians will die because of the lack of the good healthcare center. Because if parents can't get to the center and be taken care of, we're likely to lose more, innocent lives before they are born.
Okay, let's go on to the
We take just 2 or 3 from the social media this morning. If I can show Kaduna has refinery, Port Harcourt has refinery, Warri has refinery. Dangote refinery is the first refinery in Yoruba land, which is a private refinery and the biggest in Africa. That should not end there. Ondo State must now build their own seaport. The railway project in Yoruba land must be connected to all the Yoruba region for security and economic improvement in our land. So that is coming from Ifakunshaw. And as the Biafra continue to open more of their liaison offices, the Prime Minister government in exile, Biafra Republic government in exile, the South Korean liaison office registration has now been approved. And the last one is coming from Ogbeni Demola. All the victims of Hitler in the Second World War till today are still being compensated. Looted artifacts have been returned despite being victim of the most brutal Holocaust. It is only Africans they are told to forgive and move on.
And how true is that? Very, very true. When it comes to our West, talk about the slave trade and everything happening as well, it's honest. You like to do anything about it, but others are enjoying it. Where do we start? Where do we end? Tell me, thank you very much. Before you go. Well,
I'll leave you again, as Archie takes you to the rest of the segment till 1 p.m. But I'll be back again tomorrow for more updates from Nigeria as we are now capped down to the new government that is coming in place. Should all goes according to plan without any problem from the election tribunal that is going on. Have a very good morning, guys.
Good morning. All right, then, listeners, that has been tonight. The time is the top of the hour. The time we're going to take a music break, and once we come back, we continue.
Well, that is about that for now. A very good morning once again, afternoon rather, as we are now into the studio, back from studio, and we're gonna see how things going to play out within the next couple of days in Nigeria. It is called the countdown. The countdown to change of government, whether the government comes or not. 6 days, there'll be a lot of changes. But for now, maybe we should listen to this, then I'll come back later.
This is in-depth analysis.
There is no other section of the country that has contributed as much as northern Nigeria. Now, we can bring any area and debate it, and you find that the north paid more than paid is due. In political terms, this is what are now the turbulence of the country politics. The north must not show its face as to who in the next election. The parties were warned that they must not choose northerners as presidential candidates, because it is not the turn of the north to rule again after Buhari. Of course, you can look at it in various ways, legal or political. Certainly not legal. Our law books are very clear, the constitution is very clear, that I can stand the election 20 times and I can lose 20 times. But nothing should stop me from contesting election if I want to. But then, when you look at it in terms of, well, do me, I do you. Rub my back and I rub yours. The north has rubbed more backs than his back being rubbed. Obasanjo couldn't get 10,000 votes in front of his house. I sat with him when he declared, and I told the journalist that spoke to him rudely most of the time. I said he would be president in Nigeria by the votes of northern Nigeria, and he did. Even there, well, we got paid back somehow. It wasn't appreciated as such. Who brought Jonathan? The North did. Who voted Abiola? The North did in my sitting room to defeat my younger brother. All these are sacrifices being made by others. And even if you are talking about the years in power from 1999 date, but for the 8 years, Jonathan 6, 14, Umar 2, and now Buhari 8, 10. So I've been old even in the pure number of years. 4 years. 4 years, even on those terms. But the issue shouldn't have been we are not qualified to contest. We have no rights to contest. Certainly, this is the reason why we are saying now that the issue in Nigerian political environment must be based on democratic tenets only. There will be no issue of reserving anything for anybody. If you win an election, you win on the basis of this thumbprint. If you win, we'll accept. But if we win, there's no way we can deny us victory. No way. We will not accept that at all, and we will be ready. So this is the point. Now we are almost at the point when this election is hold, and we have been in constant touch with our colleagues. We have the Northern Forum had remained committed to talk to other Nigerians on any matter at any time. And if there are differences, we should resolve it on the basis of discussion. But for us to be beginning to see threats that if this happens and we don't like it, we'll do something negative. So we are warning that the elections hopefully will be conducted free, fair and credible. And anybody who wins the election must be accepted as the winner of the election without sentiment. And if there is any attempt to subvert it, then we'll be ready to also counter. No way. So, my dear friends and colleagues, the Northern Elders Forum or the Northern Assembly is meant for us to really look at ourselves and against the rights that is enshrined in our laws and constitution. We will not deny anyone the rights, and nobody will deny us our rights. Nobody. And those who are thinking along those lines, they should go and think again, because we shall not accept a situation where there is a fair, democratically conducted election, and the winner emerges, and will be denied on the basis that he comes from some section of this country, particularly our own section of the country, will not agree. Will not agree. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry for my usual failure in this kind of gathering when I'm given an opportunity to talk. I've not even addressed, strictly speaking, my speech, but I feel the sense in it and talked about it. And I end again by thanking all of us for coming together to share our concerns about our home, the North, and for us to feel it, that without the base, the northern base, the Nigerian state will not have foundation without the northern base. So the North should be prepared to provide that base, and it has always been prepared to provide the base, and this is why we made all the sacrifices we have to make in the interest of this country, even though a lot of these sacrifices are not being appreciated by many. And then finally coming home, I want us to remember the good old days of the Sadana. The North. The North are one people, irrespective of where you worship, or where you vote, where you associate, but remember the oneness, the togetherness, the fraternity that brought us, the history of this country has brought us together, and we succeeded the way we provided leadership over the years, and we have no apology to offer to anybody in terms of the role we have played for the benefit of this country. Thank you very much.
They drink, they fornicate, they do all the things that all human beings do. So it's not a question of religion. There's no question of anybody being truly a Muslim there. Even I knew a chief judge who was supposed to be leading Muslim prayers, who anytime he came to me in my official residence, would put brandy or whiskey in a mug and be drinking, and they would smoke and all that. So I don't think it's religion. When they started this Sharia, how many of them are obeying the Sharia? How many of them? No, not none of their leaders. So it's not religion per se, but they use religion to deceive people and say, Hausas were not Muslims at all. So they say, well, let's give you a superior religion, we'll give you Islam. But that didn't apply to the South, because we've had Muslims in Yoruba land even before 14th century.
So truly, what we are fighting against, or what is going on, is clash of culture.
And civilizations.
And civilizations.
That's right.
Not really the Fulani versus the Igbo, or the Fulani versus the Yoruba.
No.
It's clash of civilizations.
Yes, clash of civilizations and clash of cultures. Yes, you're right.
That means we have not really integrated as a people.
Never. We have never been.
So the word the Nigerian people is a fallacy. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Because, again, in those days, you would say there have always been Igbo markets, Hausa markets in Enugu. There have always been sabos in Shagamu. But those sabos were occupied by Hausas. Hausas are peaceful people. We traded in Kolanod. We did even the few Fulanis that came with them at that time, when you had the sabo in Shagamu or in Ibadan here, they would still look for one Fulani man and make him their seriki.
How did the Hausa accept?
They were subdued. They were subdued.
Despite their large number.
Yes, they were subdued. Of course, they killed, they ruined, they extirpated their 7 kingdoms. They killed their 7 rulers and took over under the guise of religion. Another thing they used, they used the word corruption. Oh, your people are corrupt. We are saints. Your people are corrupt. They've always used the word corruption to deceive people.
But the jihad is over. How come the Hausa man is yet to claim that Hausaness again?
It's just now that the efforts we are making in the south have begun to yield fruits. You will be surprised to hear that now in Hausa land, we now have Hausa Christians. Never had that before. Never. You now have Middle Belt Forum that are saying we are not northerners, we are Middle Belters. We are not northerners. Don't call us northerners. Now when you see a Jukum man or you see a Lantan man and you say you are Hausa or you are Fulani, he will be angry. He may even draw his dagger. Don't call me Fulani. I'm not Fulani. I'm not Hausa. What we did not know until recently is that when you call a Fulani man Hausa, he will be angry. He will say Banzani. Because he knows that I'm superior to Hausa. Can you say I'm Hausa? But before now, before Buhari came to establish his suzerainty over Nigeria, we lumped all of them together. We're northerners. And like I wrote some 4 years ago, there's no north. There's no north that we used to know. The north is dead. There's nothing called north anymore.
So there's a Fulani now standing on his own.
It's standing on its own. There's no more north. If they try any war today, oh God of mercy. The kind of cohesion you had in the army, the military in 1966, will never happen again in this country, if there is a country at all. You will not find a Hausa soldier now, an Igbo soldier going to Enugu to kill a fellow him. You will not even find an Igbo soldier coming to Ibadan to kill a Yoruba man, or a Yoruba soldier going to Enugu to kill an Igbo man. It will not happen again. So the Lantan people, the Benue people will never ever allow themselves to be used by any Fulani mischief maker.
So if I'm getting you right, your argument is that the Fulani hegemony has been broken.
Dead.
If the Fulani hegemony has been broken,
yes,
does it mean that the social structure of Nigeria is about to witness a very hard hit that will lead to a new Nigeria?
Yes, for those who agree with you to the extent of the fact that there are still some people who want a Nigeria, a group that I don't belong to. But for such people, yes, with the weakening of Fulani hegemony, there could be a Nigeria that will integrate the Suba Fulanis, the Tom Fulanis, and still reconstruct, rebuild, and then have a Nigeria that should be. But I, as a person, as Tola Adeni, believe that it will take probably 1,000 years to change the mindset of a Fulani person whose philosophy is kill, maim, rape, send away people from their land and let me occupy it.
That is the Bush Fulani.
It is the Bush Fulani.
Not the town Fulani.
Not the town Fulani.
And the town Fulani is more in number.
No! The town Fulani is less than 1%.
How did you get that figure?
Oh, go and find out. Let them allow a sense. Why the town Fulani? There are very few. The ones who have in Abuja. Or the few that dot spaces in Sokoto. I'm sure that you know that Sokoto, as we speak, is not a Fulani town.
Is it not?
No, that's the mistake we make. Sampara is not a Fulani town. There are more houses in Sampara than Fulani. There are more houses in Kano than Fulani.
But the Fulani govern.
They are in town. They are in charge.
Yes, so it's their town.
Yes. By subterfuge, by cunning, by crookedness, by all sorts of gimmickry.
Or by integration.
Not integration, by intimidation. And I said they are politically savvy. What they did to the rest of Nigeria, when they realized that the Fulani in the military, they could no longer use the military to retain power indefinitely. Since they've had power, they had access to the treasury, they say, oh yes, Edmond is from the east, or wherever, brilliant man, he may likely oppose us and contest with us and rival us. Let's make him an ambassador. Let's give him an oil block. Let's make him a billionaire. We padlock his mouth. Let's get an Abiola. make him a billionaire. Let's get this, let's get that. And make them big. They will never be able to look us in the face. Then we can continue. Looting the treasury, we can continue. And once when we are in control of the treasury, we are in control of everywhere. So we can hire thugs, we can do whatever we like. And that is why they introduced what I call plutocracy into Nigerian political etymology. Plutocracy.
Meaning?
Plutocracy is the government of the rich.
Yeah.
Oligarchy is the government of the muscle men.
Now we have faced such level of oppressiveness in our land, such level of frustration in our land, such level of suppression, where in one segment of the nation, blood will flow like water, killings and killers will arrive, level a whole village overnight. In some cases, they will own up that they are the ones who did it for the sake of whatever reasons they claim. Nobody is arrested, nobody is prosecuted, nothing happens, no consequence. In another part of the country, probably the southwest or south or southeast, some people come out for demonstration, and before you know it, people are leveled to the ground. People are arrested. All right? So there is one law for one part and one law for another part. That is the situation we have faced so far, the situation of injustice and inequality. Now you look at the situation with appointments and positionings, and it will appear to you as if intelligent people don't exist in no other part of the country apart from some parts of the country. We have a multi-ethnic country, we have a multilingual country, we have a multi-religious country with two dominant religious bodies in the nation. But if you look at sensitive positions, whether it's in the executive, in the judiciary, in the legislative, in the military or paramilitary, it appears as if there are no people in any other part of the country. Take a look at this. You have President Northwest Muslim, you have Senate President Northeast Muslim, you have INEC Chairperson Northwest Muslim, you have Speaker of the House of Representatives Southwest Muslim, you have Chief of Air Staff Northeast Muslim, Minister of Defense Muslim North, Chief of Army Staff Northeast Muslim, Inspector General of Police North Central Muslim, National Security Advisor Northeast Muslim, Director National Intelligence Agency Muslim North, Director General SSS Northwest Muslim, Controller General of Immigration Northwest Muslim, Controller General of Customs North Muslim, Controller General of Civil Defense Muslim North, Controller General of Nigerian Immigration Prison Service Muslim North, Acting Chairman of the FCC Northeast Muslim, Chief Justice of the Federation Northeast Muslim, Code of Conduct Head Muslim Northeast, Managing Director of Post Authority Northwest Muslim, NIMASA North Muslim, NNPC Managing Director Northeast Muslim, Minister of Education Northeast Muslim, National Universities Commission Northwest Muslim, JAM Southwest Muslim, and so on and so forth. It can keep on going on and on. Someone has said that the top 20 positions in NNPC is occupied from the same region as well. What comes to mind is there is no intelligent person and no qualified person from any other part of the country. There is no intelligent Shekiri person, no intelligent Ijo person, no intelligent Biron person, no intelligent Magavul person, no intelligent Tif person, no intelligent Joma person, no intelligent Igala person, no intelligent Ibira person, no intelligent Ibibio person, no intelligent Anan person, no intelligent Efik person, no intelligent Ishan person, no intelligent Bibi person, no intelligent person from no other part of the country that can be in any of those sensitive positions, except people from one region and one religion. And people are meant to be forced to exist in peace
under that kind of upside down, highly nepotistic, clanistic situation, that is absolutely impossible. If it was a child declared, if it was a mentality bankruptcy, mentality is returned, it's impossible. There can be no peace in such level of inequality, in such level of brazen effrontery, are taking a whole nation for granted. Nations of the world did not experience one over 100 of what Nigerians have experienced and scattered in pieces. Soviet Union is nowhere to be found. Yugoslavia was one country that scattered and splintered into 8 countries out of one country. Czechoslovakia splintered into 2. They didn't see 1 over 100 of what we're seeing. Nations in the world that are white and not that are multi-ethnic did their best. The United Kingdom, even though it's a nation, has ethnic groups that took care of the ethnic groups and gave regional autonomy to the Scottish, to the Irish, and the Welsh. Switzerland has 4 ethnic groups, and they make their presidencies sit to revolve around these 4 groups. What is the solution to the situation in our land today? If there must be peace, there must be equity, there must be fairness, there must be justice. People have clamored for restructuring. It is the devolution of power. Otherwise, there may be the dissolution of union. It happened in other places. And we pray and trust God that it doesn't happen in our nation. It's not time to play the ostrich and hide the head under. What is not confronted cannot be conquered. In medicine, we call something the debridement of wounds. You expose wounds in order to repair them. You clean them out in order to repair them. You make them bleed. Truth is what heals. And if truth is not spoken, healing doesn't happen. And it is time to tell the truth. People have been suppressed, subdued, subjugated, and treated, second-rated, as if they don't have sense and they don't have reasoning. And this nation is one of the most intelligent nations in the world. Our doctors, our professionals are the most intelligent around the nations of the world. Nigerians and Nigeria people have the highest rate of PhDs in America of any ethnic group apart from maybe Americans themselves. And it is time for us to sit up and say these things must be corrected and do the right thing, and we do the right thing on time so that Jehovah can hear us and answer our prayers. As for every protest going on, 2 wrongs don't make it right. Protests are encouraged to be very peaceful, very calm. No destruction of lives, no destruction of properties in any form. Let life not flow because there is abnormality in the land. And we believe that the Lord will help us. God bless you, and I know you will not remain the same. Share this link with your friends, and let every one of us join forces together with God Almighty, and let our land be healed and be saved. In Jesus' precious name, amen.
In Jesus' precious name, amen. A very good afternoon and welcome once again as the platform that speaks from the different angle, the platform that looks at things from different positions. Amen. Àmín, àmín, àmín lórúkọ Jésù. Let's go straight into the conversation this afternoon. It's just coming up to 18 minutes past, and I guess we need to just, we love him too much, even though we have already listened to him at the beginning. But let's just, enjoy this. Then when I come back, we go straight into the conversation.
ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tilé tó kó ẹ̀mí àbọ̀ ẹ̀bá nǹkan ọmọ Adéyẹmọ. Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho orúkọ ńlá tí jámọ̀ láyà bí ara orúkọ tó ń dẹ̀rù bo lórúkọ gan. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sùn o torí pé kòrà akọ̀lé fojúkégbodò láyé títa ríro lẹ̀dá kọlà wúrà tó máa dán alànà kọjá dandan o. Ọ̀wọ́n ẹni ní má bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀nà ẹ̀dá kan lè ṣùgbọ́n lọ́mọ ẹjẹ́ àti mọ̀ṣọ̀kan ká lè débi re. Ẹ̀já jọ gbárùkù ti Sunday Ìgbòho Ìgbòho ṣá ọmọ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ nílùú Alágbàdo Òde ọmọ atapẹ̀tẹ̀ wọnú omi ọmọ tètè wodò sànyà ìsànyà òrẹ́ràn bàbá yín láàrin ìdí omi kò sí náà kán sí yín lẹ́nu ọmọ òkúta mẹ́ta òkè Ìgbòho ìkan ṣe yín ní dákọ̀dàbọ̀ ìkan ní mọ́ rárá ìkan tó kù nígbà tí wọ́n mọ̀ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ kí ló dé Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ sí ọmọ òpópó sánrán ìgbàgede Ìgbòho sùn wọn láláìsí bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ní kó ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ó máa kó bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀sìn òní bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ bẹ́sìn bá bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho á fi kan pọpọ sí amúkan yòókù bọ̀ sànyà àtúmúyà rẹ̀ tí ò lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́ á fi ṣẹ̀rù wálé wàrà mùjẹ́ ọmọ onílé ọ̀la àwọn àjòjì tó ń ṣe ṣèṣèṣe tọ́láwọn òní bomi kó símú wọ́n láwọn òní bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ìgbà tójú kò rí ń kọ́ gbogbo wọn náà sáré bomi kó símú wọ́n sì bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta òde ayé ọ̀kan ṣẹ́ ọ̀kan tẹ̀ ọ̀kan tó kù ní gbogbo ayé ránṣọ kiri gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá Sunday Ìgbòho onírẹ̀lẹ̀ láéláé torí àbá lásán nìkan ń dá òkúta òṣègbè fún wọn o ìmọ̀ràn lásán ni ti balùwẹ̀ ó bọ́ sí gbogbo dòdò láyé bí ó kún díẹ̀ tí tọ́ domi láéláé tọ́ mi lè domi. Sunday Ìgbòho arógun má ti ìdí tó jà fẹ́tọ̀ Yorùbá ní tilé tó kó.
Again. No going back. Ìgbòho òòṣà iṣẹ́ rẹ̀ ń tẹ̀síwájú. Mr. Koiki ẹ ṣé o, àwọn ọmọ mi ló ń kí yín o. Àwọn ọmọ mi ló ń kí yín o. Lágbára Ọlọ́run, a máa délẹ̀ lérí o lórúkọ Jésù. Yorùbá nation.
Mo kí gbogbo wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé a tún káàbọ̀ sí orí ètò ti ọ̀sán tí à ń bá lọ. In tá à ń bá bọ̀ látàárọ̀ náà ni a ṣì wà lẹ́nu ẹ̀ nítorí pé in tó jẹ ọmọ Yorùbá lógún òun náà ni à ń sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. Gbogbo tó bá dẹ̀ máa tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn náà ló yẹ ká máa sọ nítorí pé in tó tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn náà la ṣe ń pariwo pé Nàìjíríà ò dáa. So bí a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ kan a lè sọ fún gbogbo ìgbà tó máa fi yé wa dáadáa Koiki Media, live in the 23rd day of May 2023. Aago méjìlá àbọ̀ òun ló ń lọ lù. Just as anybody is at work, I am also doing my best from the comfort of my London base. A lot of people say, kí ló dé tá a padà wá sílé tó jẹ́ pé ìta ni a ti ń sọ pé a fẹ́ pín Nàìjíríà. Mo ní nígbà tó máa pín náà tó máa da Nàìjíríà náà papọ̀. Mo rò pé Queen Elizabeth I àbí whoever was the king, whether King Henry V or whoever was there, I'm not sure pé wọ́n wá sí Nàìjíríà àbí wọ́n wá sí territory yẹn kó tó di pé wọ́n pè ní Nàìjíríà. So táwa náà bá wà níta tá a ní a máa pín Nàìjíríà. It's almost the same thing tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní 1913 because àwọn tó pín Nàìjíríà tó fi di pé gbogbo à ń pariwo léèní pé kò tẹ́ wa lọ́rùn. They were not in Nigeria. They only had akọ pé Lugard. Kò sí nǹkan kan tí Lugard lè ṣe tí Lugard ò bá gba àṣẹ lọ́wọ́ ọba ìjọ náà lọ́hùn. Ọba tó jẹ́ ọba ìjọ náà lọ́hùn ló fi àṣẹ sí government UK because the monarch controls the country. The prime minister is under the monarch. Is under the king. Queen ló wà ńbẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ nísìn ló wà ńbẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ òun gbà tí queen ti kú. So ẹ̀yin tẹ́ máa ń bring out this argument kò make any sense. Ibikíbi tíyàn bá wà náà ló ti lè dá in tó lè fi jẹ́ kí wọ́n máa wò pé ṣé n tí mò ń sọ ṣó make sense. Ṣé n tí à ń sọ pé a fẹ́ ṣó make ṣe rí pé ó ti ń make sense nítorí pé Akérédolú ti ń gbóhùn síta. And we've always known him as somebody that is there talking. Maybe we will see more of Akérédolú talking than when Buhari was there. It's going to be a lot of different game ló fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ nísìn within the next 6 days. Because number one, Akérédolú mọ̀ pé Yorùbá lẹ́ni tó ń bá sọ̀rọ̀. Yàtọ̀ sí Gàmbàrí tó wà ń bẹ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ tá à ń pè ní Gàmbàrí Fúlàní. Because when Buhari was there, àwọn ìgbésẹ̀ kan tí Akérédolú fẹ́ gbé, Garba Shehu sọ fún pé no, ò lè gbé wẹ̀. Are they going to restrict Akérédolú if he decide as the government is about to change over and try to do things to lè save Ondo State and probably maybe the Southwest? Because Akérédolú bí a ti ṣe mọ̀ pé as much as we know that our politicians they are not really saying a lot lórí right to self-determination as we want them to. Akérédolú is a very, very intelligent man. I think from what I'm heard, he's a lawyer, right? I think lawyer ni àbí. So gbogbo ariwo tèmi ń pa níbí báyìí, ìta Akérédolú ti kọjá nígbà tó ń ṣe yunifásitì. Gbogbo Nàìjíríà ò dá kíní gbogbo ẹ̀ ló mọ̀. They are all intelligent, highly intelligent, extremely intelligent. But problem tó kàn ní ni pé tó bá lọ ń sọ táwa fẹ́, ó máa ba ìrìn àjò Tinubu jẹ́. Mo fi tẹlẹ́dùmarè àtúnfi bẹ̀rẹ̀ mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa tí ẹ jókòó pé ibi tí Yorùbá wà lénìí kò dá rárá. Àmọ́ àwọn kan ní ibi tá wà pé kí ló ṣe? Kò sí nǹkan tó ṣe náà. So kí la wá ń sọ pé a fẹ́ kúrò fún? Àwọn yẹn ibi tí làákàyè wọn mọdé nìyẹn. Wọ́n dẹ̀ níbi tí làákàyè yẹn bá mọdé ibẹ̀ náà ló máa rí. Àwa tá à ń pariwo yìí náà ìta àrí náà ní lára tá à ń rí náà òun lélẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ jẹ́lé ìsára náà.
Koiki Media, bringing the world closer to yourself.
Àti máa ń sọ sórí báwọn èèyàn onígbà tó máa ń bísì onígbà tí kò kí ń bísì ó ti lọ nìyẹn. The next one ìyẹn máa dé ní 1 minute. So bàbá ń sọ fún yín pé Yorùbá nation ló lè ṣe àmútàn sọ ni torí lè náà nísìn. Koiki Media bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Èdè ní 23rd of August 2022 sórí lè náà ó ti ready láti depart sórí kọ̀mpútà ni ó máa tilẹ̀kùn ó dà pé sẹ́ńsọ̀ péyàn kan tó fẹ́ wọlé ilẹ̀kùn yẹn máa tì nísìn. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ fún yín sórí the next one tó máa dé ó máa dé ní 1 minute. Èdè náà ti kéré èdè náà ti lọ. So má jẹ́ kí àwọn kan parọ́ fún ẹ pé Yorùbá nation is possible. parọ́ fún ẹ pé ìta ń sọ yìí pé kò lè wáyé ìta ń pariwo pé ó fẹ́ pín ìlú tó possible pé káwọn kan kọ́ dìde kan náà fẹ́ pín ìlú àwa kọ́ la máa kọ́kọ́ pín ìlú tá a bá pín ní ti sùúrù a pín ní tìjà ọ̀nà méjì náà lọ fi ń pín ìlú tó bá ti di pé diplomacy bá ti fail ìbọn máa jáde sí títì ìyẹn ọ̀dẹ̀ ń ṣe Newton tó bá lọ wo Sudan lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nísìn there is a ceasefire for 1 week ìyẹn ò mí pé wọ́n ti jà tán wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ jọ tẹ́ra wọn lọ́rùn ìtòlúkálukú bá fẹ́ àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ ní ìbọn tá fẹ́ fi jà àmọ́ ìtaní ni pé ẹnu tá fi ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí a fi enlighten yín ká máa fi ṣe tán pè ní civil disobedience nínú civil disobedience ní protest máa jáde bí ti ṣe sọ láàárọ̀ yìí when we shut down the airport for 1 week or there is a diversion for 24 hours àwọn àgbáyé máa bi wá pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ gangan kí la fẹ́ bọ̀ fún wọn tó ń wò mí tó dàbí ìgbà tó jẹ́ pé ọ̀bọ ìwò lọ wáṣẹ́ jẹ ìdarí ó rà pé òníṣẹ́ ẹ̀mú ó mọ̀ pé mo níṣẹ́ náà ni ìyẹn náà torí pé mo níṣẹ́ náà mo ṣe ń ṣe léè torí pé tí bá níṣẹ́ mo ní máa ṣe tí mò ń ṣe torí wọn tó jókòó tó jẹ́ pé bó ṣe máa tètè connect mọ́ wọn l'Ábùjá ìwọ náà fẹ́ gba contract ẹlòmíì ti ra tíkẹ́ẹ̀tì ẹ̀ nísìn kódà ẹlòmíì fẹ́ relocate s'Ábùjá báyìí nítorí pé ó mọ̀ pé Yorùbá ló wà níbẹ̀ at least ẹ ní a bit of power there which is going to be true agbára díẹ̀ máa wà náà agbára ẹni Tinubu fẹ́ lò àmọ́ Akérédolú máa jẹ́ one of his big problems nítorí pé Akérédolú ó ń sọ àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ kan lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ irú àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ wo ló ń sọ tá bá ní ká wo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lénìí àti tá bá fẹ́ parọ́ Ondo state ṣì wà lára àwọn state tó sọ pé bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ yìí ò dáa ẹ ṣe jẹ́ a dá Àmọ̀tẹ́kùn sílẹ̀ ká kóbọn lé wọn lọ́wọ́ ẹ rántí pé nígbà tó fẹ́ kóbọn lé wọn lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n tí Garba Shehu sọ fún Garba Shehu sọ pé no kò ní right under the 1999 constitution mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ń take note platform yìí bó o bá ní pen and paper tó bá jókòó fún 3 hours you are wasting your time o gbọ́dọ̀ ní pen àbí kò ní pencil torí pé àwọn ọ̀rọ̀ kan wà wàá fẹ́ lọ verify pé ṣé tòótọ́ ni tọ́mọ yìí sọ àbí rọ́ mo sọ fún ẹ pé níbí báyìí we are dealing with reality là ń dì pẹ̀lú èèwọ̀ à ń ṣe reality big brother sórí big brother ni wọ́n ń kọ́ mú síta gbogbo yẹn wọ́n fi ń deceive yín ni àwọn tó ń kọ́ mú síta ara tó ti sọ fún wọn nìyẹn pé etí ṣó yìí fi lè dùn ni pé ẹ̀yin ẹ ṣáà gbé ọmú síta but àwọn ọ̀dẹ̀ gbé ọmú síta níbí báyìí but interfin wọ̀nyí ta fi ń ṣe àpèjúwe ọ̀rọ̀ tí ẹ fi ń sọ pé Kóìkì máa reduce òyìnbó tó ń sọ díẹ̀díẹ̀ ṣẹ́rí pé mo ti ń gbìyànjú ju ti tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ nítorí pé mo fẹ́ kí ẹ máa gbọ́n tá à ń sọ ní gbogbo abà ní gbogbo abúlé kí la Akérédolú ń sọ kí ló ń dùn lọ́kàn torí pé nǹkan kan á máa dùn yàn kan lọ́kàn ó ń pariwo pé 1999 constitution yìí constitution tá à ń wò yìí kò likely pé tá bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí lò ó wọ́n ti ń lò tẹ́lẹ̀ but òun wá ń sọ pé bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ yìí kò dáa rárá èmi wá ń bi Akérédolú mo ń bi léèrè pé ǹjẹ́ intẹ́mi ti ń pariwo látọdún méjì àbí tí wọ́n ti ń pariwo láti ìjọ́ kan nítorí pé kò ń ṣe rọ́ àwọn alámakọ́kọ́ pariwo àti rí àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n tó jẹ́ senior advocate of Nigeria tí wọ́n ti sọ pé 1999 constitution yìí ó yẹ ká ti jẹ́tí sílẹ̀ ó yẹ ká ti jùlù ó yẹ kó ti wọgbó nítorí pé is a military dictator. In tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ ti jẹ́ nǹkan tó jẹ́ pé military ló mú wá kí la wá jókòó lé bí ìgbà tó yẹ pé àwa láàní àmọ́ nítorí pé irú bàbá burúkú Ọbásanjọ́ àtàwọn bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ àwọn ò rí foresight pé ariwo pé 1999 constitution yẹn kò ṣiṣẹ́ ṣerú Ọbásanjọ́ tó di president mọ́ wọn lórí tó ń jẹ mùdùnù tó ń jẹ mọ̀kẹ̀lẹ̀ ṣe rí pé Ọbásanjọ́ kò ní sàn kankan ìdí tá a ṣe sọ fẹ́yìn tí ó kù ni pé torí wọ́n tí o ṣe ń sọ pé Kóìkì má tan rẹ Nàìjíríà ò lè pín èmi náà bẹ ágíù sórí n tó máa pín Nàìjíríà òun ló ń lọ lọ́nkàn yẹn Emma Bino pé broadcast here on that on start a little bit is because there's a lot that is running parallel and because on show ready gunning. So maybe I should drop the Twitter from here. Maybe that will maybe I should remove this from the Wi-Fi. I don't know. Sometimes it's like, especially in Tobati Dowosu, there's a lot of pressure on the. So let me remove this one from the Wi-Fi. At least I can run it with my data. So yeah, make the pressure I could reduce a little bit, and I think that's the only thing that is running apart from gadget and motor locate. Because our gadgets they're running parallel to whether they are using it or not. So that's where the problem is. And because it's afternoon, afternoon is the peak time. And we're only using what we can afford. If I can afford more, maybe I would have asked them to upgrade my internet, but not about upgrade it. It's still a little bit on red. That means the broadcast is still struggling a little bit. Let me see, make sure that I don't know. Okay, let me close some of what we have opened. There's a lot of things happening. Let me post this one. Let's close this. Let me drop some of the frames. So that way we are not struggling. Okay, this one is okay like this. Bàbá ìtí ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ látàn kan ṣá níṣòro bàbá ẹ̀ tí fẹ́ kó sọ̀rọ̀. Èyí náà máa láǹfààní àti pé máa tètè ṣe phone line láti aago kan so that kí ẹ lè láǹfààní àti dá sí agbami ètò tó ń lọ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nísìn. So let's see. Oh, she red. Only between orange and red. So let me go and disconnect certain thing upstairs. Happy birthday, Babawa Michael Idowu. Birthday in the month of May, including myself. Omo May, you know. For 1 minute. Let's see if we can. I don't know what I'm going to adjust, but I'm just going to go upstairs and disconnect some of the Wi-Fi down window or the iPad. Maybe it will make any difference. No whatever.
Which is it for yourself, Abadaya? Do you think the government is unwilling or unable to protect the people of South Africa?
In fact, it is not only unable, it is unwilling, and we have good reason to feel that they are part and parcel of the killers. Let me make some revelations.
That's a very big allegation, Dr. Obadiah. The government is part and parcel of the killers. That's big.
Yes. Okay. How will the government just say, oh, it is revenge killing and so on? Then you leave it there. Oh, because it is revenge killing and so on and so forth. The body language of this administration, the body language of the state government shows clearly that they have a hand in the killings. No doubt. Because you see, General Abacha, and people don't give him his due. Do you think that tolerated such nonsense? And let me make some revelations, because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them to different parts of the country. They are already in the south, in the rainforests of the south. They are everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria.
So I've taken down a few things that are running on the internet, and we hope, hopefully it will manage itself. If otherwise, about our manager, like I said, it's going in between the 3 layers of stress. So it's going from green back to orange, back to green. Hopefully, like I said, it could just be doing some work around my area. This is still a live transmission. My name is Olamiko. It's a Tuesday broadcast. This broadcast is already run 2 hours. So that means it's just 1 hour left. It's not going to be more than 3 hours, I can assure you, because we've spent 1 hour with the Starr Radio UK, and then we've spent, I believe, an hour before that. Yeah. Akeredolu on pariwo nísìn pé the 1999 Constitution is not in their favor. Kí ló dé tí Akeredolu ṣe fi ohùn sílẹ̀ nísìn? It's just the same thing. Táwa náà ti ń sọ bọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ pé if Nigeria is going to survive, it will not survive with the fraudulent 1999 Constitution. That Constitution must be jettisoned. That Constitution must be removed. But as many Nigerians will probably say, no, ẹ jẹ́ ká keep the Constitution here. Even knowing fully well that that Constitution is one of our major problems. And apart from the Constitution, we also know that the country itself, has been marginalized. But now that why am I seeing these? I was having that same problem earlier. Something is not right. Okay. The background will not be better. Sometimes technology. I pé wà tá tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ program lọ́sàn-án ẹ̀. Mo rí nǹkan lẹ́yìn, àwọn pé kí ni mo rí? But apparently it was because there's 2 browsers. Google Chrome la máa fi ń pick nǹkan báyìí. But lẹ́ẹ̀kan in tó ń pick ti Microsoft ni. So ó confuse me a little bit now. Mo ṣe wá realize pé mi ni mo highlight it tí mo fẹ́ pick. So I use OBS for my streaming. It's free, but there's some things I paid for, especially background in team of echo show certain things. So I pay a little bit of money, not too much, just under $10. But the software itself is free. But if you're going to use it, you need also a very good laptop to be able to use it. And command low StreamYard. I don't use StreamYard. I don't know about how to use it. XSplit ni mo lò tẹ́lẹ̀. Nígbà tó dẹ̀ fi máa fún mi ní headache. I stopped láti máa lo XSplit. A dẹ̀ ti ń lo OBS láti ìjọ́ mẹ́ta nísìnyí. At least ó ṣàn ṣe bó ṣe yẹ kó ṣe. In the little tá a ní kó ṣe, which is the most important thing. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan ṣe ṣe ìyàwó Grace Olúṣọ̀tọ̀ and the rest of those Pastor Mo, Jack Olúṣọlá àti gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ti wọlé. Ẹ máa wà tired pẹ̀lú nǹkan tá à ń sọ back to back. Tí wọ́n bá ti gbọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀, the rest assured pé ẹlòmíì gbígbọ́ tó gbọ́ kò yé. Ó dẹ̀ di dandan pé tó bá ń wo BBC News àbáwọn other news network, ìgbà míì ó máa dàbí pé nǹkan tó ń sọ wà repetitive, but wàá rí pé àgbékalẹ̀ ó máa kàn yàtọ̀ díẹ̀díẹ̀ ni. Yes, it's the same person that spoke in the morning, it's the same person that is speaking today, but ìdí ni pé because we are not going to have your network in Nigeria to give you the breakdown and understanding of what we are saying. Like I said, I plan to open the phone line. I've done more of the talking in the morning. So maybe there might be 1 or 2 people that want to add their input. Then I can just, go and have a bit of rest. Because like I said, I woke up after a good 8 hours sleep at about 5 a.m. this morning. So let's start with this, our senator. Well, I believe he's a former senator. He's no longer a senator. Adeyeye. So they feel like Baba Olowo.
It's the credo of our republic.
It says unity and faith. Peace and progress. The truth is, whatever a man sows, the same he will reap. And that goes for a family, that goes for a tribe, that goes for a nation, and that goes for a multinational republic such as Nigeria. When a nation or republic cannot keep faith with justice and with the truth, it will never achieve unity. It will never achieve peace. And it will never achieve progress. Mr. President, sir, one of us quoted from this constitution and went ahead to make prescription for how to move forward. Today, that this is the problem. This constitution can never give us progress. This constitution can never give us peace. This constitution can never give us unity. And unfortunately, most of us in this National Assembly, we don't have the spine to face what we need to give this republic to have peace and progress. What do I mean? This constitution has 68 items. 68 on the exclusive list. This constitution has only 12 on the concurrent list. And those 12 are written so nebulously, so fraudulently, that you know that the intention is to even undermine those concurrent lists. That is why those who want unity and peace in Nigeria must first remember that the name of our republic is not just Nigeria. The formal name of this republic is Federal Republic of Nigeria. Unfortunately, we don't run a federalist system in Nigeria. Otherwise, what is so unique about all those things that are in the exclusive list? We used to have a parliamentary system. And then we wanted unity, we wanted peace, we wanted progress, and we therefore said we are going to go with a presidential system. Honestly, there are many presidential systems in the world that have peace and progress. I can't quarrel with that. But we must put in place the same safeguards that presidential system across the world put in place.
Eshegon Babawa, Senator Adeyeye. Thank you so much. I can see the comment coming through. Mr. Moses Olanirani. All these people have eaten up our money and become too big, and looking at them in the house and Ahmed Lawan, Odolegbe Babayo, they've all been there for a very long time and they don't have any plan to go. Mukim Babawa Joseph, I like it like that. Sorry, what about Eyo Baba Sawa, don't figo Lushere. Mukim Babayo ti Saleko, expectation in Lori Tinubu. Oníjàsásán má wọrí gbogbo àjọwà náà ni tó bá yá èyí lẹ máa pè mí pé Kóìkì ọmọ ọba ń sáré sọ̀rọ̀ yìí síta torí pé ó dà pé Tinubu ó dà pé ó ti ń fa yányá kó àwọn tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ mọ̀ pé èèyàn fẹ́ gbójú síta àyà yìí máa já kí Tinubu máa wà very tough lórí communication. Bàbá ti gbọ́n tẹ sọ látẹ̀ǹkan ẹ ṣé gan ni ẹ jẹ́ ká wá síbi tí a fẹ́ lò gangan.
Akérédolú Àkẹ́tì. Mo máa ń wá picture mi tí Akérédolú ẹ bá mi send ẹ̀ padà ẹ̀yin backend team ẹ ti send ẹ̀ sí mi rí ẹjọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ bá mi rí forward ẹ̀ padà. Mo sọ fún yín pé mo meet Akérédolú èèyàn dáadáa ni mo kàn jẹ lára ẹ̀ ni tó wáyé pé mo jẹ lára ẹ̀ ni wàláì gbogbo ìjókòó mi báyìí nísìn ẹ̀yin bá ẹ ti máa ní Kóìkì shut up gbogbo jẹ lára Akérédolú bó jẹ lára ẹ̀ o but at least mo láǹfààní àti èmi mo ṣe mistake ẹ bá ti send ẹ̀ nísìn máa edit ẹ̀ máa forúkọ sí i mo mọ̀ pé send ẹ̀ sí mi rí ẹ bá mi resend ẹ̀ wá káwọn èèyàn tẹ̀ lójú èmi àti bàbá Àkẹ́tì ikùn ẹ̀ bí ikùn bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó ti jò gan nísìn ọlọ́ba ń fún lálàáfíà ara òun máa bá Tinubu fantó tán lẹ̀ sí Yorùbá ẹ̀ńtẹ̀ wọ̀ yìí kọ́lọ̀ ń fún lálàáfíà dáadáa Akérédolú will be different I can assure us because ó ti fi ẹ ṣe gan ni gbogbo ẹni tí ẹ̀dẹ̀ ń support wa lọ́tún ló sì tẹ̀lé Kóìkì máa dáṣẹ́ ẹ lọ. Ilé tó ń ṣe yìí ó ti jí lágo 5 ó ti sọ̀rọ̀ ó tún sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn no tó bá lọ ṣiṣẹ́ náà ó gbọ́dọ̀ sanwó fún ẹ náà mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo yín lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mo sọ pé a máa wá fún ìrànlọ́wọ́ but nítorí pé iṣẹ́ ta gbé dání ìyẹn ló ṣe paramount ìyẹn wàá mí pé ìrànlọ́wọ́ ta fẹ́ yẹn náà kò wà paramount bí ṣe sọ ó wà very very urgent but ẹni tí Ọlọ́run bá ní yes Kóìkì whatever it is I will do my own little bit ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ ní òun ò ní òun àǹfààdúrà rẹ kódà grandma consent imagine ní Nàìjíríà grandma yẹn Nàìjíríà lọ́wọ́ send 5,000 naira sí mi kọ́nà bá ń bò wọ́n láṣìírí tó pọ̀ nínú owó tó sì máa ní grandma ẹ má wọrí ara yín wọ́n ní ìwọ èmi tí mo ti mú account number lórí system ẹ bó ṣe ń san nìyẹn so what more do you want me to say so nígbà mi tí ìwọ bá rò pé ó rẹ̀ mí kò lè rẹ̀ mí kò ń ṣe pé torí owó yẹn àdé bá ń send picture ẹ̀ máa ta Akérédolú wọlé ẹ bá ń send ẹ̀ wá quickly wọn bí a bá kẹ́ntì mi wọ́n gbọ́n tí mò ń sọ. Akérédolú Àkẹ́tì mo láǹfààní àti pàdé ẹ̀ ní 2018 nǹkan kan ló gbé mi lọ sóńdó àpèbẹ̀ ní Ondo Auto Rally ẹ̀gbọ́n mi kan náà ló ṣe program yẹn wáyé pé mo ti mọ̀ kí n rọra jókòó pẹ̀lú Ondo Auto Rally kébì náà ní Akérédolú fún mi ní kankan kó tó bá pa Akérédolú ti fún mi ní kankan nísìnyí àwọn Kóìkì adẹ̀fọn lówó náà nígbà tó wá sí Ondo State kò wá jẹ́ pé rúwọ ló máa fi wá pa lórí social media kódà inú mi máa ń dùn tí bá ń fi wọ́n pa báyìí torí pé mo dúpẹ́ mo rí bàbá wa Elizade Motors wọ́n á pé interview kan tí mo ṣe lélẹ̀ ó kọ́ ẹ̀kọ́ problem ni pé mo ti ṣe lé ok ẹja àgbọ̀ ilé.
So Maureen, and this is a quick media. I just want to ask a few questions concerning
Akérédolú kọ́ lélẹ́yìí o lára àwọn tí wọ́n lọ represent mi ní journal náà tí wọ́n interview wọn lélẹ̀.
How do you feel about it, and especially the environment you are? And what's your name?
My name is Argo from Abuja.
Okay, so what?
Abuja báwo ibo ló ti wá gangan? Abuja rọ o, Abuja náà ni wọ́n ń gbé.
This is your position yesterday, and what did you raise? Is it okay? You are the one who was okay. Just tell us your full experience and how you feel about the tournament.
It was nice track. Something new for Nigeria. Explore so good off-road track. First of its kind in Nigeria. So what I loved about it.
I'm not going to bore you too much. I'm just going to share this again on our timeline. This was 2019, November 10. Ṣẹ́rí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílé tí ẹ kọ̀ ṣe pàdé wa bí alánà. Mo máa ń sọ fún yín pé we have tried our best and we are still trying our best. But our best can never be great should we remain in Nigeria. Nítorí pé Nigeria is taking us backwards. Nigeria has not improved until date. It is still not improved. Ó dà ń pé 2018 kan lélẹ̀ náà. Lára another event yẹn lélẹ̀ náà. 2018 lélẹ̀ 2019 lẹ́wọ̀ lẹ́ǹkan ẹ̀. Àwọn ọlọ́kadà àdúgbò náà sáré. Ṣẹ́rí. Ṣẹ́rí pé voice mail ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ yẹn 2018. ìmọ̀lẹ̀ ń wò yìí ní inú building wo ló wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ wa yìí ẹ máa rí nísìn ṣẹ́rí Akérédolú nìyẹn. This was 2018 táwọn ọlọ́kadà àdúgbò náà fi sáré níjọ́ náà yẹn.
Koiki Media Live 2018 Ondo Auto Rally, the Okada rider.
So sori pé ìdí tá a ṣe ń sọ fún ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílé pé prospect wà ní Nàìjíríà but wọ́n dìbà prospect yẹn based on so many reasons. There's too many videos and all that, that we can continue to bring out. But if it have a look on me, all I just like to share with you is, my own journey. Because when people are saying, hey, Koiki, come back home. Ìgbà tẹ́mi take risk lọ sí Ondo State in 2018. Kí prospect that yí ẹ lè ta, lèmi ṣe wá nígbà yẹn. Because exposure tá wá fún wọn nígbà yẹn, so that kí ọjọ́ ọ̀la wa lè dá nínú Nàìjíríà. The program still run, wọ́n ṣe lọ́dún yìí náà, Akérédolú lélẹ̀ Àkẹ́tì. Problem kan ní pé kìíní máa ní ó máa fi lọ switch, you need to switch Ọlákùnrin, no. Mo bọ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ń lọ wò bí àwọn olè mú wá látẹ̀yìn. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí Ondo Auto, wọ́n sì ṣe lọ́dún yìí, Ondo Auto Rally Koiki Media. Are we gonna get fed up? No. My job is just to continue to educate as many of you. Ṣẹ́rí àìmọ̀ tẹ́ ẹ̀mọ̀ yẹn òun lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ fi ń sọ̀rọ̀ sáwà, but it's okay. Torí pé tó bá yẹ pé o mọ tí èmi rí ni pé nígbà tí mo wá sí Auto Rally yẹn, kódà ó dà pé èèyàn kan tí mo pàdé àwọn kan níbẹ̀ tó fi ṣe agriculture bíi bíi food and catering. Bọ̀bọ̀ náà a ṣe wà together, ó sì máa ń pè mí lẹ́ǹkọ̀ọ̀kan. But ṣẹ́rí gbogbo opportunity yẹn ó wà diminished. Let's move further because I can't get the video up around. If I switch video yẹn, ó máa fún mi ní another angle which I don't want. Ó máa disturb o. Okay, jẹ́ wọlé. Again, he wants to. Let's go on YouTube and just show you one or two things. So let's see Ondo Auto Rally Koiki Media. All right, and organizer rally yẹn lélẹ̀, mo play lè láàárọ̀. Níbo ní tábìtì máa ṣe fún Akérédolú wà báyìí tó sọ̀rọ̀ pounded yam tó ní tell everybody to come and invest in Nigeria ní ọmọ wà báyìí. Pa Elizade mọ́tò lélẹ̀ àwọn bàbá lówó ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Èmi àti bàmí lélẹ̀ nígbà tá a lọ sóńdò 2 years ago lélẹ̀ Face of Africa TV lójú. So, check it out, battery. But one thing I just want us to understand is NTA ló pick eléyìí ní 2007. So it's a big event. I mean, it will still be developed in the long run, whether we like it or not, because event ti 2023 lélẹ̀ 1 month ago. Àwọn tí mo lọ ní, because ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá Nation tí mo gbé dání, mo kọ́ àwọn teams wa kọ́ lọ síbẹ̀. But in tí mo kàn fi fàyọ ni pé we all have a role to play. Role tèmi play ó yàtọ̀ sí role tí Bàbá Akíntóyè play, but a gbọ́dọ̀ fún wọn ní support yẹn. Ti 2023 lélẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ̀ wo preview yẹn díẹ̀. Wọ́n ń pè wọ́n ní work and play. Ẹ má bínú mo nílé play music yẹn because our music yẹn. So ìwọ náà wo structure tí mo ń sọ yìí. Ó mọ̀ pé tí wọ́n bá ń wo báyìí ojú tèmi fi wò ó tún máa yàtọ̀ tó dé fún ọ̀fun. Ṣé eléyìí ní síta bá develop ẹ̀ dáadáa ìjọ ọmọ iye tó lè máa pa fún Ondo State? N tí mo tolú ẹ̀ lọ sí Ondo ní 2018 ló wò yìí. Mo fẹ́ play àwọn music yẹn. I'm sure ẹlòmíì ò tẹ̀ mọ̀ pé orúkọ báyìí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ l'Ondo State. Uncle mi kan uncle náà la máa ń pè. UK ń báyìí lọ́wọ́ kó tó di pọ́ relocate lọ sí Nàìjíríà. àwọn ló dá gbogbo program project sílẹ̀ wọ́n pè wọ́n ní work and play. Torí pé tó bá jẹ́ pé Nàìjíríà ó yìí máa develop ìtàrọ̀ránwò yìí ṣe rí gbogbo Formula 1 táwọn wò yẹn náà díẹ̀díẹ̀ ni from small to big. So ìwọ tó ń sọ pé Yorùbá nation ní wáyé ìjẹ́ òun náà ẹ wo terrain yìí ẹ wo ẹ̀yin náà máa wo view yìí tá à ń sọ yìí kí ló rò pé ó lè generate fún wa lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Torí Nàìjíríà kò ní fẹ́ jẹ́ kí irú bíbá develop torí pé olórí burúkú làwọn málà báwọn ṣe ń ronú yàtọ̀ sí báwa ṣe ń ronú. Mentality málà ó yàtọ̀ sí mentality tí torí pé view drone lọ fi ń gbé látòkè ṣé wọn náà ti rí nísìn torí àwọn ọmọ wa torí wọn kò wá imagine pé tí kò má jẹ́ pé Koiki Media nìkan ìwọ náà tó ń ṣe media ìwọ tó ń blog kí gbogbo ọ promote eléyìí lọ́jọ́ iwájú. ṣò wá rí pé àwọn òyìnbó tí òun wò yìí ṣò rí pé àwọn ń take risk ìwọ ò fẹ́ take risk wo bọ̀bọ̀ tó wà nù fídíò yìí nísìn ọlọ́lọ́mọdún tó ti ń gbé nínú Nàìjíríà but àyàtọ̀ tó kọ̀ máa wá mẹ́rin pé wọ́n máa ń fún wọn ní preference nítorí pé skin wọn wàláì kò ń ṣe pé mo parọ́ tọ́lọ́pàá bá dá wọn dúró bọ́lọ́pàá ṣe máa treat eléyìí ó yàtọ̀ sí bó ṣe fẹ́ treat ìwọ and ìwọ dẹ̀ gangan ní indigene ìwọ gangan ló jẹ́ pé citizen. Some of these people have been in Nigeria for only God knows. Wọ́n kúrò ní Nàìjíríà èmi ò tẹ̀ padà lọ sílùú ẹ̀ èmi ọmọ Cyprus ni wọ́n because Cyprus yẹn náà kò sí nǹkan kan níbẹ̀. Do you know the kind of remember ìyá mi gbémi lékè ẹ̀yin ará Ondo State? This project was in Ondo State. In tó gbé mi lọ sí Nàìjíríà ní 2018 lélẹ̀ to be part of this kind of project. But adúpẹ́ fọlọ́n pé ẹni tó ń ṣe ọmọ Yorùbá náà ni ṣorí pa Elizade ni ẹ̀ ṣorí bàbá yẹn ni ẹ̀ ìtọ́ṣe ní last 2 months or so lélẹ̀. So and I met this man irú gbogbo àwọn bàbá yẹn nísìn lótìtọ́ lódodo àríkọ́ sọ̀rọ̀ jáde but irú ẹ̀gbọ́n mi tó ń ṣe project ó láwọn bí kan tá sọ̀rọ̀ dé that is off not for the social media. Gbogbo wọn ni wọ́n ń pè wá pé Koiki tó ń ṣe lè wait nítorí pé tí ìran Yorùbá bá ìwọ tó ń sọ pé kò síṣẹ́ ní Nàìjíríà wọ́n program tí mo kọ̀ rọra fi ń wọ̀nyí nísìn this is in Ondo State. Do you know the amount of money that we can be generating from this project? Kódà ó máa rán ní ó máa di ìgbà tá à ń ṣe bíi Premier League but òyìnbó ò fẹ́ jẹ́ ká dé stage yìí ìyẹn lèmi ṣe ń sọ fún wọn pé sórí ilẹ̀ yẹn ṣó mọ̀ pé orí ilẹ̀ wa ló ti ń ṣe program yìí ṣó mọ̀ pé tí bá gbà tí ó mọ̀ pé tí wọ́n bá wà lórí ilẹ̀ inú à máa dùn ìdí tó Ọlọ́run ní gbà wá nú jẹ́ ìdí tí ni wọ́n ṣe ń bàjẹ́ mọ́ kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi yẹn ní Fátókẹ́ òun ni pé because àìtí ìrì tiwa ṣe nínú ilẹ̀ yẹn ìdí tá a dẹ̀ ṣe rí tiwa ṣe ni pé constitution yẹn ti lọ́ọ̀kì wa ẹja gbọ́n tí wọ́n sọ ní bíbáyìí ìkọwọ́ ṣàkọrin ní bíbáyìí orin tó ń kọ lẹ́ǹkan ni mo ṣe ní òtẹ̀ ẹja gbọ́n tó ń sọ ní bíbáyìí. Ìlara mọ̀kì. ṣùgbọ́n kan tó sọ time will come that people will come from other parts of the world. ṣùgbọ́n tó ń pè ní Formula 1 ó tí mọ̀ oh my God ìwọ ń sọ̀rọ̀ politics àní kò sówó nu politics forget about politics. owó ṣọmọ pé Formula 1 àwọn mẹkáníìkì kan wà níbẹ̀ wọ́n ju olówó Nàìjíríà lọ mẹkáníìkì lásán ni àwọn tó máa ń change táyà yẹn gbogbo ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣáà máa rí Formula 1 ètò ẹ̀kọ́ ṣe ní Italy ní sún wọn lè ṣe nítorí plot tó wà níbẹ̀. So ṣé lẹ́yìn Yorùbá youth tá a bá sọ̀rọ̀ tó ń kánjú Koiki yẹ ká ti gbà no ìwọ kọ́ ló máa sọ fẹ́mi pé yẹ ká ti gbà èmi sọ pé yẹ ká ti gbà Yorùbá nation láti 2000 and láti 1960 nítorí pé I have been to I have not been to so many places but irú eléyìí tí mo fi wọ̀nyí nísìn imagine the kind bàbá Elizade lójókòó yìí mo délé wọn aṣọ tó ti ń wọ̀ náà lọ́lé láti ìgbà tá a ti ń ṣe project mo tẹ̀mọ́ tèmi ti tèmi sí and this is why tí bá wá sórí media ó máa ń dàbí ìgbà tó yẹ pé èmi máa ń bínú sọ̀rọ̀ ó kúkú bẹ́tà ká destroy gbogbo ẹ̀ ká wá start afresh nítorí pé a kàn waste time èmi ti pé 40 nísìn mo sì wọ ṣòkòtò àti níkà kiri tó yẹ kí n máa wọ irú àwọn aṣọ tó yẹ pé bíi aṣọ Yorùbá kí n lọ sóko kí n lọ ṣe nǹkan àgbẹ̀ kí wà kódà mo farm house lèmi fẹ́ gbé. I don't want to live in the city anymore. Farm house lọ́wọ́ èmi kí n gbé. Mo kí ìyàwó Fọlákẹ́ Akínyẹlé. But unfortunately, a lot of you see me as a kí ni bàbá yẹn sọ lẹ́nu yìí tí mò ń sọ lélẹ́yìí kí ìran Yorùbá kí a ní àlàáfíà. Ṣọba pé àwọn project báyìí nísìn báwo la ṣe fẹ́ ta ilé fún international community pẹ̀lú terrorist tó wà láàrin wa ní Nàìjíríà? Báwo la ṣe fẹ́ sell irú project? You can see there. Work and play. I'm not being to play music here because they come on me. Are you thinking of what I'm thinking? Shit. What is Koda to better of the last year, Lord? I mean, 28. What about develop ni? They are happy. They're excited. Second runner-up was Yusuf Wasiu. Winner was Shobo Usman. Hausa nìyẹn, definitely. Ọmọ Gàmbàrí nìyẹn. Ọmọ Gàmbàrí ló win. Because orúkọ Hausa nìyẹn, definitely. And to be first. Àwọn èèyàn wa. Ìṣòrí smile ẹni wọn. Olùgbọ́ fún ẹ̀gbọ́n mi yẹn. He's never get hand. Ṣe bó bí Usman Fatai ọ̀kadà ló win. Agboola ló gba first runner up. Agboola Ekundayo. Wá tí ìyẹn làwọn kan ṣe àwọn ṣe ń sọ pé the future of Yoruba land is bright. But a ti gbọ́ díẹ̀ nínú eléyìí. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi yẹn dáadáa. Wọ́n fún ní 150,000 naira. Very good. Ẹ̀ tó win. Sorry, bàbá Elizade nìyẹn. Elizade Motors. Owó ti pọ̀ jù. Àwọn elite wà nìyẹn. Àwọn tó ní wọn ló ń kọ nílùú rẹ̀. Bàbá Elizade nìyẹn ló ń jó bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi nìyẹn ojú ọkọ. Owó ti pọ̀. Anyway, that is about that for this beautiful event. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n wa ojú ọkọ àwọn náà ń pè ní Works and Play. You can do and find out more about them on the YouTube and all that. Now let's leave that and come back to reality. Àti gbọ́ ti bàbá ìdí so I'm going to close this because I don't know if we're still straight, pushing law in between. And I want to open the phone line 30 late already. Now, at the red line here, so the line is open. The number to call is +44. Like I said, 3 hours the program is so that we can, maybe if I have more time, I can come back in the night. If otherwise, we'll call it a day. 1999 Constitution state reduced to pathetic beggars. So that means gbogbo àwọn governors tó ti ń run in Nigeria láti 1999 they have not been able to perform because of the constitution. Àìlẹ̀ ti sọ̀rọ̀ lórí constitution yìí kò ń ṣèmi ní máa sọ Robert Clark ti sọ Afẹ́ Babalọ́lá ti sọ and every one of them. Bó kí ló lè mú Akérédolú Àkẹ́tì tó ní 1999 constitution our state have been reduced to pathetic beggars. Does that mean that bí Tinubu bá débẹ̀, there will be pressure? Okay, Muslim ni ó kọ̀ jẹ́ ọ̀rẹ́ Usman. Okay, fair enough. Akérédolú sọ pé our state have been reduced. The governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, ìyẹn ní àná, ó expressed worry that states in the federation have been reduced to pathetic beggars. Omodi, because wọ́n ní access sí resources wọn. Resources tó ẹ̀kọ́ lò wọ́n ní access sí. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ ní 59 Founders Day anniversary ní Federal University of Education ìyẹn ní Ondo State. agbẹnusọ ẹ̀ ìyẹn Dáre ó ní there will be no end again block ní ẹ̀ jáde díẹ̀ tí wà 2 times yàfi sí 150 ó ní kò ní sí ìparí because end ni kíkan parí ìwọ wá gbàdúrà pé kọ́lọ̀ ń jẹ́ kí a má rí ìṣẹ́ but àwọn sọ nísìn fún àwa pé kò lè ever sí ìṣẹ́ tó máa tán nínú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àti ní gbogbo Nàìjíríà tí ó mọ̀ dí because of the 1999 constitution. So èmi tẹ́mi ń pariwo tá à ń sọ fún yín tá à ń ṣe àlàyé ẹ̀ ń sọ fún wa pé no pé kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ but àwa rí pé 1999 constitution yẹn should be jettisoned. The governor who spoke through his special adviser on union matters, Mr. Dare, said there would be no end. Tá bá sọ pé nǹkan end kò ní sí ìparí. Kò sẹ́ni tó lè mọ ibi tí òkun parí sí. Wọ́n ti gbìyànjú títí irọ́ ló ń pa kò lè rí anything. Even àwọn tó wà nínú International Space Station. Unless the basic law, unless òfin was secret. Àwọn òyìnbó ńláńlá yìí lọ máa ń dé tó máa ń lo àwọn òyìnbó báyìí tó ń lo èyí tí àwa mẹ̀kúnnù máa tètè understand ẹ já lọ wọ English dictionary.
Tinker.
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 Again.
Tinker.
Ṣe rí pé ìdí ẹ̀kọ́ sọ pé attempt to repair or improve. So in terms of ni pé tí wọ́n bá improve lórí 1999 constitution ìṣẹ́ máa pa gbogbo wa ní kí kóra mi náà mọ̀ torí pé tí bá sọ pé ìṣẹ́ máa pa yẹn èyí náà ní ìṣẹ́ máa pa ẹ mọ̀ pé kò tẹ́ máa sọ ní ẹ̀yìn ọmọ Yorùbá ìṣẹ́ máa pa gbogbo wa ní ìwọ máa sọ pé ìṣẹ́ ò ní pa mí lórúkọ Jésù ń tán rẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ Jésù sí nílẹ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ mú kí Princess Adébímpé grandma ti tọ̀wọ̀tọ̀wọ̀ dárúkọ yín. So gbọ́n tó kọ sí bíbáyìí Akérédolú ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ó ní there will be no thinker àti wàá lọ omi ní thinker yẹn only the law the basic law was tinkered with to reposition the country to prepare for production of goods and services. ṣọmọ tó ń pè ní goods and services máa ṣàlàyé fún ẹ ṣọmọ tí pé mo ní mo pè yàn kan ní Bulgaria mo ti pé mi mo pè Sky mo polówó fún Sky torí wọ́n sanwó fún mi mo lè ṣe brand ambassador. But mo ní problem nínú ilé mo sanwó fún Sky mo wá pè wọ́n service nìyẹn wọ́n ń gbowó lọ́wọ́ mi bọ̀ kò sí service èèyàn mélòó ni ó ń sanwó sínú bank tó fẹ́ yọ owó ẹ̀ nínú bank wọ́n sọ fún ẹ pé báńkì Nàìjíríà ló máa gba owó ó ì tí gba owó yẹn ó ti debit ẹ̀ ò dẹ̀ rówó gbà services nìyẹn and there are so many services tó ń lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ tó yẹ kó gbọdọ̀ máa generate owó fún wa wọ́n máa ń sọ nísìnyí pé ìṣẹ́ máa pa gbogbo wa ní o ẹ̀yọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá torí ìwọ tó ń sọ pé ẹ ti lọ ṣiṣẹ́ òru forget about ọ̀rọ̀ ṣẹ́ òru kọ́ ni ilé ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú wákàtí 5 wọ́n ní ìṣẹ́ máa pa gbogbo wa torí tí bá ní ìṣẹ́ máa pa yín ẹ̀yin náà máa ní ìṣẹ́ máa pa ẹ́ tó mo ti kóra mi mọ́ rí o lè wá máa tán rẹ pé ìṣẹ́ ò ní pa mí irọ́ ló pa because the basic things of life ò lè rí jẹ láyé nínú Nàìjíríà àfi tó bá sá jáde àfi tó bá kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà ni ìṣẹ́ yẹn máa dínkù díẹ̀ ó ní jẹ́ highlight ẹ̀ fún ẹ kó lè mọ ibi tí mò ń kà ìyẹn lásán gan fi ṣe prógráàmù ìmí lọ́tọ̀ ìtakọ̀rọ̀sọ yìí there will be ẹ bá mi ṣe àyàn ìgbépọ̀ ẹ̀ there will be no end kò ní sí ìparí sí ìṣẹ́ fún àwa ọmọ Yorùbá àfi tí òfin tí wọ́n ń lò tó bá wà tinkered adẹ̀tí lọ́wọ́ mini tinkered ìtànpè ní lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí tábà ní àfi tábà repair so ìwọ tó wá ń sọ pé Tinubu máa rí ìjọba ṣe orí ọ̀pẹ torí pé orí ọ̀pẹ rárá you must be stupid you are a stupid man or stupid woman ọmọdé nìyẹn àgbàlagbà nìyẹn diaspora nìyẹn ó ti ní àrùn ọpọlọ tí wọn ò fẹ́ repair in tó ti damage okay òun drive nísìn ibì kan kò tó ó wá appear níwájú ẹ ṣé o máa drive mọ́tò ẹ yẹn tó máa fi gun orí ẹ ní òmùgọ̀ à ń sọ fún yín pé Nàìjíríà ti wà damage ó ti wà damage to the extent that they are not ready láti repair gbogbo pé wọ́n amend the constitution yẹn fàbú nìyẹn a lè amend tó ti wà damage you cannot amend it Nigeria constitution ń ṣe ta bá ma sọ pé kí lè fẹ́ amend a constitution that was put together by the military ní 1999 tí Ọbásanjọ́ lò tí gbogbo wọn lò ìwọ wọn sọ pé Tinubu máa lò ó máa fi tún Nàìjíríà ṣe torí pé o ti ń mu páínpáín ó dà pé o ti ń mu páínpáín jókòó kó máa dì sí ìbáre máa tán rẹ èmi kọ́ ló ń tàn já tún lọ wo mí nìyẹn dáadáa síwájú tá a bá sọ pé what does it mean to tinker with someone verb to work in a manner of a thinker especially to repair adjust or work with something in an unskilled or experimental manner. Tabani, what is the simony of tinkered? What if E-R-E-D, sílẹ̀yìn? Interfere, manhandle, doctor, monkey. Nigeria constitution, ó wà monkey. Ó ti wà dotted. Wọ́n ti tọwọ́ bọ̀ lójú. Tó bá dẹ̀ sọ pé lọ́ni mò ń pa, jẹ́ tún lọ mú YouTube ní ìwà fún ẹ. Ó mọ̀ pé ẹ fẹ́ gbọ́ tọ̀. Jẹ́ tún lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mẹ́rin kan sí wa 1999 constitution. Kó lè bá yí ẹ. Ìbáwọn ilé wọ́n ní mọ̀jọ̀ àwa lọ ẹ̀jà àgbọn tó sọ. This video was 6 years ago. Continue to deceive yourself. Continue to deceive yourself. We are telling you Nigeria is not working. We have
Mr. Robert Clark, a senior advocate of Nigeria, a legal practitioner. He joins us next as we continue our focus on this amendment to the 1999 Constitution. Always a pleasure to have you. Thank you for coming on.
Always my pleasure to be here.
The Honourable said that, in fact, he has an interesting theme, that retreat that they have, towards ensuring good governance, accountability in Nigerian federalism. And I did ask him, he says, look, that Nigerians may have the wrong impression, but they mean well for this country. But looking at some of the provisions, I know you've gone through this.
They mean well. Nobody mean well for you, but nobody mean well for anybody. Olúkálùkù ń sáré àsálà àti ẹni tẹ́ bá ń gbọ́ tí ṣe Kimberly àbí kí ló ń jẹ́ lè they mean well níbo ló ti mean well fún yín nobody mean well for anybody everybody is there to survive ẹni tó bá yọ ní ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà.
They really mean well for good governance from what you've seen.
Let us be honest with ourselves. We lawyers says you cannot build something on nothing.
Mo like ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn nǹkan sílẹ̀. You cannot build something on nothing. Nigerians want to build something on nothing. Orí ti gbálẹ̀.
The Constitution, the 1999 Constitution, is a constitution that I believe we should jettison completely.
Tó bá ń sọ pé jettison òyìnbó yẹn ti máa ń jáde lẹ́nu àwọn lọ́ọ̀yà yìí. Èyí lọ́ọ̀yà yéyé máa lo àwọn òyìnbó táwọn ará mẹ̀kúnnù gbogbo tẹ́ ń sọ yìí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ sí Google jàre jettison kí ló mean? Ẹ dàyàn lórí rú.
Jettison. Jettison.
Ìtótó yẹn ni.
Jettison.
Ìta máa pè ní.
Jettison.
Tàbá sí ń gbọ́.
Jettison.
Gbogbo ìgbà táwọn lọ́ọ̀yà bá ti ń lo.
Jettison.
Kí ló dé tí Robert Clark ò ṣe lo òyìnbó tí a máa. Ṣẹ́rí ìyẹn lẹ ṣe máa wà computer bá ti ń wo channels nílé torí ìwọ tó wo channel wá pé bàbá yìí jettison ìwọ á máa rò kó bí ó sọ pé kó jet out kó travel no tó máa tó ń pè ní.
Jettison.
Anytime tó bá ti ń gbọ́.
Jettison.
Ìtọ́nikọ́ jùnù ni ẹ jùnù bí igbó ló lọ tarara òyìnbó á sọ pé throw drop mo ń bọ̀ ẹ̀ àti ibi like practical mo gbọ́dọ̀ lọ mú bọ́ọ̀lù kékeré àwọn ọmọ mi wá torí ìkan ilé tó tóbi kó má lọ là kàn mọ́lẹ̀ kó má kàn kàn gbogbo ní kékeré yẹn wá. Igbó ló lọ tarara igbó ní Nàìjíríà ẹ̀fẹ̀ ti jùnù ni ara ju bọ́ọ̀lù nítorí pé tí bá jù ní púpọ̀ ṣé o gbọ́ bọ́ọ̀lù yẹn bó ṣe ń dún mo ti ń gbé bọ̀ wá síwájú ẹ̀ give me like practical ní practical ló lè yé nítorí orí ẹ̀ ti gbálẹ̀ ló tó ń sọ sórí bọ́ọ̀lù yìí ní sùúrù ẹ ṣe sùúrù ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi ṣé ẹ ń rí bọ́ọ̀lù yẹn ẹ tí rí àbí sórí ṣé ti rí bọ́ọ̀lù yẹn sórí pé mo fẹ́ jù nù báyìí tí bá fẹ́ jù báyìí mo fọwọ́ kan gbà báyìí mo fọwọ́ kan mú báyìí so sórí constitution tí wọ́n wò yẹn tí wọ́n fẹ́ ní pé Tinubu máa fi ṣe ayé ẹ̀ tó máa fi dá tètè sọ fún wa pé kí Tinubu ṣe kí ni kó jù nù tí Tinubu bá sì di constitution yẹn mú òmùgọ̀ ẹ̀yin ará Èkó ẹ̀ sunkún bẹ́ńbẹ́ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Ṣẹ́gun ọ̀nà ẹ ti wálé mọ̀mọ́ kẹ́ ti wọlé sórí ìwọ tó sì ń sọ pé Kóìkì ó dà pé orí ẹ̀ ti gbálẹ̀ ní London orí mi gbálẹ̀ náà ni mo fẹ́ ìbí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ṣé mo jẹ́ kí ni Yèyé Dára máa ń pe onídìbẹ́ǹbẹ̀ lọ máa ń pe kí má gbórúkọ ẹ̀ wá sórí program tí onídìbẹ́ǹbẹ̀ ni onídìbẹ́ǹbẹ̀ torí ẹ̀ ti gbálẹ̀ yẹn orí tèmi ò gbálẹ̀ sórí reality lèmi máa fi ń sọ̀rọ̀ torí pé mo lọ mú bọ́ọ̀lù wa ó yẹ kọ sórí 1999 constitution yẹn Akérèdọ́lù ẹ má bínú ẹ̀jẹ̀ àgbẹ̀ kúrò nù sórí 1999 constitution tí wọ́n wò yẹn ó yẹ kọ́ dùnú ni but kò lè yí kó ọmọ kẹwàá understand ìwọ rò pé constitution yẹn ló fẹ́ máa fi ó fẹ́ kí Tinubu máa fi constitution yẹn kó máa fi ṣe Okorocha chess pass àwèrè constitution tó yẹ kọ́ ti jùnù ti pẹ́ òun làwa ń lò àwa ń deceive ara wa ìyàn lọ sí ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì àmì Jésù lórúkọ Jésù Ọlọ́run jẹ́ irinṣẹ́ Tinubu tó débẹ̀ nísìnyí Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí rẹ̀ sì di 30,000 Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí dọ́là wá sílẹ̀ Ọlọ́run jẹ́ lè lọ London mo bẹ̀ gbàdúrà yẹn Ọlọ́run jẹ́ lè lọ Amẹ́ríkà mo bẹ̀ gbàdúrà yẹn sórí ti constitution yẹn tó bá ti ní Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà dá Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà dá lórí constitution tó o bá pariwo sínú ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì yẹn àbí ní mọ́ṣáláṣí ó ti jẹ́ tán náà mo wá fẹ́ ju bọ́ọ̀lù inú tí ó mọ̀ kó mo ti kí ló dé tí mo lọ gbá bọ́ọ̀ bá àwọn tó dẹ̀ máa ń gbá bọ́ọ̀ máa ń lówó Ọlọ́run mo dẹ̀ gbá bọ́ọ̀ defender ni mí ó lè gé mi lọ kàkà kó gé mi lọ máa ṣẹ́ léṣe defender ni mí ó ti pẹ́ tí mo ti gbá bọ́ọ̀ now torí bọ́ọ̀lù yìí nísìn torí pé mo ti torí pé ọwọ́ méjèèjì mo fi dì mú mo fẹ́ jù sí igbó ló lọ tarara torí 1999 constitution yẹn torí mo pé bí àwọn olórí burúkú àwọn politician torí pé wọ́n dì mú eyín gan àti eyín àti gbogbo ẹ̀ làwọn fi dì mú ìwọ ló máa wá bá ṣe máa já kúrò lọ́wọ́ wọn Akérédolú ń complain fún nìyẹn Akérédolú ń complain lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ó ní constitution yìí ò dáa ó ní Kóìkì bá ń pariwo síta mo mọ̀ pé mo ti ṣẹ̀ ẹ́ bá ń sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé constitution burúkú ni wọ́n gbé dání yìí o born bastard. I am here talking every day. Go out. Now that Akérédolú ti sọ̀rọ̀, bóyá etí yẹn á ṣí. Pé constitution yẹn, ọgbọ́n kan tí Robert Clark sọ, ó ní ó jẹ́ kó ti jẹ́ tí sínú ẹ̀dànù tipẹ́tipẹ́. Bàbá, Robert Clark, kí ló dé tó yẹ pé àwọn òyìnbó ńlá lálẹ́ ìmẹ̀yìn lọ́ọ̀yà yìí máa ń lò? Tó kí ń lo òyìnbó tó yí sí fáwọn àwa mẹ̀kúnnù. Máa bìlíìfù àwọn gaiman àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀ tó wà lamẹ́ríkà àti ní Europe àti ní gbogbo ibi tó wà ní continent láti sọ pé Kóìkì yẹn má gbọ́ àpá tí Kóìkì sọ. You are going to be paid. Sori constitution yẹn jàgbọ́n sori àti lọ mọ meaning next time máa bá wa sọ pé drop
jettison
the action of jettison. Tá bá sọ pé jettison báwo la ṣe ń lò what does jettison wọ́n tún béèrè pé what does jettison mean in Oxford òyìnbó ti pọ̀ jù ọ̀nà òyìnbó yìí náà lọ fi da yérú to get rid of that nonsense 1999 constitution ó lè ṣoríire sẹ́ni mo sọ fún ẹ nínú Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú constitution yẹn kọ́ dífá fún ẹ àfi kí fáyẹn sọ fún ẹ kó máa sájáde nínú Nàìjíríà yẹn ẹ máa jẹra yín lẹ́sẹ̀ ni. Tó bá ní kéèyàn bí wọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́lé ó máa lo jettison yẹn tó jẹ́ kó fi di pé ó máa fi lọ dé mọ́lẹ̀ pẹ̀lú 1999 constitution ó máa yọ nínú sórí sìmẹ́ǹtì tó ní kó rà tó bá ní kó ra 6 ara 4 òun náà ló ń fi 2 fi kọ́lé tiẹ̀. Àwọn ló máa kọ́lé èèyàn ló máa kọ́lé kò ní security Nàìjíríà nìyẹn máa kọ́lé kò sí security. Continue to say pé àmọ́ tá à ń sọ ṣèbá Akérédolú ti sọ̀rọ̀ nísìnyí to get rid of as super ilé ọtún lóyìnbó ńláńlá ní bíbá or encumbering to omit or forgo as part of a plan or as the result of other decision. Are they going to forgo this constitution? The
1999 constitution is a constitution that I believe we should jettison.
Bàbá ò bá ti sọ pé ká throw away. Ọmọ Nàìjíríà mélòó ló fẹ́ lè àwọn tí wọ́n níná? How can you be saying jettison? You are saying jettison when you should have just told us we should throw it away. But ẹ try there, ìlú ti bá wọn ṣe bàbá Robert Clark ẹ dàgbà dáadáa. Only we should jettison it. Ẹ̀yin kan wá jókòó sílé, ẹ jókòó sí abroad, ẹ wá ní Tinubu máa rí ṣe, ẹ wá tún ẹ tún tọ́ba tó wá fẹ́ ṣe wá fọ́ Ọlọ́run block ẹ̀ lẹ́yìn. Wọ́n ní Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ kó rí ṣe. Mú bọ̀, ìwọ náà gbọ́n tí bàbá yìí sọ. Gbọ́n tí bàbá yìí sọ, a play bàbá yìí láàárọ̀ yìí. Mo kàn tó fẹ́ lọ mú bàbá yẹn jáde gbọ́n tí bàbá yẹn sọ àwọn ọlọ́ṣẹ̀ o ọwá fi da kàkà kọ́ sọ pé àwa la ṣẹ̀ èmi pásítọ̀ yìí ni mo ṣẹ̀ bàbá yẹn wá sọ pé èmi ni mo ṣẹ̀ ó wá ń kó gbogbo àpapọ̀ mọ́ra wọn ṣé bàbá yìí ò mọ̀ pé àwa kọ́ la ṣẹ̀ ṣé èmi ni mo ṣẹ̀ bàbá tó ṣẹ̀ ò sọ pé òun ṣẹ̀ ẹ̀dá gbọ́n tó sọ.
Almighty God, we are suffering. Have mercy. Enough is enough. Almighty God. Hey, please have mercy. Ṣàánú, Ọlọ́run ìyanu ṣàánú. Àjẹ̀bí, àríbì kankan sásí, ṣùgbọ́n ẹ jọ̀ọ́, nítorí orúkọ Jésù Kristi, ẹ ṣàánú fún wa. Ẹ jẹ́ ara àánú gbà. Ẹ ṣàánú orílẹ̀-èdè wa, ẹ ṣàánú ẹbí wa, ẹ ṣàánú ìjọ Ọlọ́run. Ẹ ṣàánú wa gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹnìkọ̀ọ̀kan Olódùmarè ẹ ṣàánú o ẹ ṣàánú o Ọlọ́run ìyanu ẹ ṣàánú o ẹ sọ òkùnkùn wa dì mọ́lẹ̀ Ọlọ́run ìyanu ìnira yìí ti pọ̀ jù olùdáǹdè ẹ ṣàánú ẹ foríjì wá ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ sọ òkùnkùn wa dì mọ́lẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn tó ń tẹ̀ wá mọ́lẹ̀ àwọn tó ń rẹ́ wá jẹ ẹ ṣàánú. Ọlọ́run Olódùmarè ẹ ṣàánú àjẹ̀bí o àwa ló jẹ̀bi o Olódùmarè àjẹ̀bí àwa la múnú yín dùn ó ní wàhálà fi dé dípò ká sọ pé ẹ jọ̀ọ́ níṣẹ́ là ń sọ pé ń bo lọ́lọ́run ọ̀hún wa ń bo lójú ẹ̀ wá kí ló dé tó ń wo gbogbo eléyìí tó ń lọ yìí tí ò ṣe nǹkan bàbá ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ ṣàánú ẹ ṣàánú Nàìjíríà o Olódùmarè ẹ ṣàánú orílẹ̀-èdè wa ọ̀gá ògo ẹ ṣàánú orílẹ̀-èdè wa ẹ ṣàánú wa ẹ ṣàánú ọmọdé ẹ ṣàánú àgbà ẹ ṣàánú mẹ̀kúnnù ẹ ṣàánú àwọn tí ò nípá àwọn tí ò lólùrànlọ́wọ́ ọ̀gá ògo ẹ ṣàánú wa o ẹ̀yin nìkan ṣoṣo náà nìrànlọ́wọ́ wa o ẹ ṣàánú o Olódùmarè ẹ ṣàánú ẹ ṣàánú.
Bàbá ẹ ṣe jáde kẹ́ sọ pé constitution yẹn pé kò dá káwọn kẹ́tẹ̀ ẹ̀ bá wa làwọn òyìnbó kan kẹ́yìn náà sọ pé jettison ká má tẹ̀lé understanding. Mo kí ìyàwó Ọlásùnbọ̀ Sangol lánà ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin alálùbáríkà mo kí ọmọdé mo kí àgbàlagbà àti mú ètò yẹn wálẹ̀ díẹ̀díẹ̀ bí ṣe sọ. Lórí tọ́pìkì continuity ni because a gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe exposition ẹ̀ torí pé ṣẹláwà Yorùbá àwa la difficult jù láti lè understand kankan bàbá ẹ ti bá wa sọ díẹ̀ nínú tẹ́ ń sọ lọ yìí.
Because it does not augur well. After 17 years, it has created more problems for us in Nigeria.
After 17 years, this constitution has created more problems. Mo kí lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí bàbá mi Joseph Ọládàpọ̀. Mo kí bàbá mi Túndé Michael. Mo kí ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà tẹ́ wà nulẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà tẹ́ fọwọ́ rọ́rí pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ló di nǹkan báyìí. Mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yin bàbá náà tẹ́ ń sọ pé a sì wà lẹ́nu ẹ̀ náà ni. Mo kí bàbá wa Kẹ́hìndé. Àníṣe ẹ jẹ́ kèmi ju bọ́ọ̀lù yìí sẹ́gbẹ́ kan. Mo ti jù sẹ́gbẹ́ kan. Àwọn politician ti jẹ wá run. Mo kí mọ́mí wa Eunice Ládépọ̀. Bàbá mi Olúwafẹ́mi Frank mo kẹ́yìn ti Dublin mo kẹ́yìn ti Cyprus mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kẹ́yìn ti Turkey mo kẹ́yìn ti Dubai ẹ̀yin ti Oman mo kí yín ẹ̀yin ti Baghdad ó mà tọ́jọ́ mẹ́ta ká gbúrò ìyàwó àbíbá mo kẹ́yìn ti Saudi Arabia mo lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ mo kẹ́yìn ti Switzerland ẹ̀yin ti Austria ẹ̀yin ti Belgium mo gbàgbé ẹ̀yin ti Italy ẹ̀yin ti Congo mo gbàgbé Haiti ẹ̀yin ti Liberia ẹ̀yin ti Togo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní Niger náà tó ọlọ́run àfiṣọ́ ẹ̀ṣọ́ yín o ìjọ mẹ́fà ló kù gbáko tí a máa fi mọ ibi tí ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà ń tẹ̀síwájú sí bí ti ṣe sọ diplomacy between us and our representative bí a ní sìn tí Akérédolú ti ń sọ tí ó fẹ́ di ọmọ kan tá à ń fẹ́ bí òun náà ń dókí Tinubu débẹ̀ ni gbogbo ọmọ wa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí í ṣòrí kọ lọ wọn ẹja gbọ́ bàbá ilẹ̀kùn sí díẹ̀.
It has given more powers to the executive governors and the president.
Did you hear that? The 1999 constitution ó fún àwọn gọ́fúnà lágbára agbára yẹn ti pọ̀ jù àwọn tí wọ́n operate ju military era lọ.
In exercising these powers, they have allowed corruption to come.
Nínú ẹ̀ náà ni corruption ti ṣẹlẹ̀. Àkóyìkí Fúlàní wà nígbà báwo la ṣe máa ṣe wọ́n kí ni ẹni ṣe pẹ̀lú mi. Do you know pé ihun tí bàbá ìfẹ́ sọ nísìn? Ṣé o mọ̀ pé ihun tí bàbá ìfẹ́ sọ nísìn mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Olúwaṣeun Adédoyin ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Pastor Adeboye, please stop. Ẹ̀yin lẹ jẹ̀bi sir. I am not included in your guilty verdict because I am a victim. Mr. Fab ní Jettison bẹ́ẹ̀ ni òyìnbó yẹn ti ẹ̀kọ́ Jettison yẹn kó ọba ti sọ pé ká throw away. Náà ló Jettison ọkọ̀ dá brain wa rú. Shout out to those of you on the Twitter. I don't know who is there. Mo kí gbogbo yín bàbá wa Ọlájídé. Mo kí ẹ̀yin family mi. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Uncle Tunde Michael kò ní bàjẹ́ fún yín lórí Instagram ibi tó kálukú wa ti ń gbìyànjú because we are all doing our little best ẹlòmíì wà nínú company kan tó báyìí tí rí company yẹn ti dàrú and I'm not joking bọ̀kọ́lọ́ Elédùmarè wá jẹ́ ká lè ṣerú ẹ̀ sílẹ̀ Yorùbá là ń pariwo bí ṣe sọ àwọn hate Tinubu lórí platform ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹgbọ́n tá à ń sọ Tinubu máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìrìn àjò ẹ̀ Elédùmarè kó wà pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ àmọ́ àwa gbọ́dọ̀ gbọ́ tiwa nínú pé Tinubu fẹ́ wọlé yìí tó bá ti débẹ̀ tán inú ẹ̀ náà la máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ civil disobedience a máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ rally a máa bẹ̀rẹ̀ gbogbo tí a fi lẹ́tọ̀ọ́ pé a fẹ́ lọ bó bá wá kọ̀ bó kọ́ gbọ́ wa bó gbọ́ wa bọ̀ ní tí mo lè sọ fún gbọ́n Yorùbá ni pé 2031 ni Tinubu máa ṣe tán èmi ti fún títí di 2031 àwọn kan ní ẹ kò lè survive 2031 àwọn kan lè lédùmarè èmi ti fún títí di 2030 ṣèbí ṣé bàbá dé ní 2015 ó dàbí àná so Tinubu will only be there. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa Ọ̀pánúgà mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń sọ́pọ́tì platform wa ní ti làákàyè ní ti advice Koiki yìí máa sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe rí pé nígbà tẹ́ bá mi sọ̀rọ̀ ní 2 years ago ṣe rí pé mo dárí náà ẹ̀yin ọmọlúàbí ni mí ẹ ṣe lè pè mí kẹ́ ní Koiki ṣe báyìí kí ó kọ́ àyà mi lẹ́nu pé lára àwọn tájọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìrìn àjò àwọn kan tó wá ń sọ pé rọ́là ń pa mo kí ẹ láti Miami bẹ́ẹ̀ mo dọ́dọ̀ ẹ̀ tán kù díẹ̀ lamẹ́ríkà tí bá máa kọ́kọ́ pé mo fẹ́ lọ Amẹ́ríkà tí mo bá dọ́dọ̀ Azeez ní Miami irọ́ ni mo pàṣẹ. Mo gbọ́dọ̀ débẹ̀ kó ṣe pé torí pé ó jọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú èèyàn làwọn. Santra Koko mo kí yín mo kẹ́rin tẹ́ ń gbọ́ wa tí ẹ̀ kì í ṣọmọ Yorùbá ní pé à ń bínú sẹ́nì kankan náà ẹni tó bá ń jà fún humanity ó ní láti bínú sáwúsá but àwọn Fúlàní no. Torí pé UK náà ní allow kí terrorist wà nínú ìlú yìí they've disturbed our lives too much. Ẹ jẹ́ gbọ́ Robert Clark díẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí.
You understand? The question of security votes.
Sórí wo tó ní Koiki Fúlàní wà nínú bókí la máa ṣe sí mo bẹ́ẹ̀ torí Ọlọ́run ṣé dáwọn ọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn àyìn girama ẹ jẹ́ ká máa bèèrè àwọn gọ́vnà wa. Ṣé ní tí bàbá ìfẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ó ní security vote èèyàn mélòó lọ́mọ tó ń pè ní security vote má parọ́ ta ló ti gbọ́ security vote rí ẹ sọ pé yes security vote ta ló gbọ́ rí abẹ́kọ̀ mọ́mí mi ológun jà mo máa long lẹ́tí wa pẹ̀lú mi but torí ti yín ẹ jẹ́ n tún lọ one step padà sẹ́yìn Ọlọ́run jà lọ one step torí pé mo mọ̀ bí ẹ wà nígbà tí mò ń ṣú Ondo state lẹ́ẹ̀kan ẹ̀yin àti ìyá mi gbé mi lékè mo fẹ́ gbé yín lọ sí Ondo àwọn Ondo ọ̀tọ̀ ṣẹ́rí wọn ló play audio yẹn Ondo state lélẹ́yìí I'm sure pé mọ́mí mi comfort àmà ní ẹwo ilẹ̀ wa bó ṣe dán ara project mo tẹ̀lé wọn lọ ní 2018 in tó gbé mi dé Ondo lélẹ̀ kíkẹ́ tó mọ púpọ̀ náà èèyàn mọ Ondo state èmi ti lọ sí state yìí mo nítorí pé ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú ni yín mo ṣeré lọ sóńdó torí pé mo wo project ẹ pé nígbà tẹ́gbọ́n mi yẹn tó tí mo lọ bá ní London tó ṣe analysis ní táwọn fẹ́ ṣe fún mi mo ní mo gbọ́dọ̀ dé Nàìjíríà wàláì mo wọ plane mo dẹ̀ travel lọ sí Nàìjíríà mo kí Mr. Femi Bright àwọn ará Ẹ̀kútọ́nú ní Kóìkì máa bá wa sọ Yorùbá ẹ̀mí náà ń gbìyànjú díẹ̀díẹ̀ ṣé wàá rí Ondo tẹ̀ ń wò yìí àwọn ilé náà ń pè ní work and play ẹ wo project yìí ẹ jẹ́ ká wò fún pé in the next 20 years in the next 10 years ó lè di Formula 1 ìwọ náà wo ilẹ̀ bó ṣe tán tátátátátá wọ́n ṣe bẹ̀rẹ̀ kódà wọ́n tún wá improve ju ti tẹ́lẹ̀ lọ because gbélé tí mo rí nísìn kò dà báyìí tẹ́lẹ̀ that means pé improvement dé ìtaṣe sọ pé èèyàn ni pé there is opportunity in Yorùbá land opportunity yẹn cannot be quantified àṣewáfẹ́ sọ pé ká má ṣe wàhálà lórí ìrìn àjò àwọn òyìnbó tẹ̀ ń wò yìí wọ́n ń ṣe pure òyìnbó àwọn bíi Cyprus nǹkan kan ní wọn bọ̀ wọ́n ti wà ní Nàìjíríà àwọn kan dà pé Lebanese ni gbogbo náà ni mo meet ìyẹn mo ṣe ń sọ fún àwọn ọlọ́kadà lílo ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ fún èèyàn wa bàbá ṣẹ̀dá àwọn ẹ̀wù culture wa ẹ̀dá ògbó ọkọ̀ culture tá à ń sọ ẹ̀wù culture ẹ̀wù rí mi dẹ̀ ń wú báyìí ẹ̀wù culture ẹ̀wù àwọn ọmọ wa ẹ̀wù àwọn èèyàn wa ẹ̀wù tá à ń sọ fún yín pé àníṣe ẹmọ iye tí a lè make in tourism torí mọ́mí wa comfort ẹ̀yin lẹ jàǹfààní eléyìí mo mọ̀ pé a ti play lẹ́ẹ̀kan mo kàn mọ̀ tún rí ìwáìn ẹ̀ kódà tẹ̀ wò dé ìgbà tẹ́lẹ̀ this can be developed to racing ground ìtọ́fẹ́sẹ̀ gangan náà nìyẹn ní Ìlaramọ̀kì I was there in 2018 kò ṣe pé mo tẹ̀lé wọn débẹ̀ ni nígbà tẹ́gbọ́n mi yẹn tó ṣe analysis plan yẹn fún mi mo ní mo dé Nàìjíríà tán pẹ̀lú yìí èmi owó ara mi dẹ̀ mo fi lọ Nàìjíríà mo ní opportunity láti rí governor backend mi ò gbọ́ lẹ́ǹkan ni mo ní kó bá mi send picture Akérédolú ṣe ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ fáwọn èèyàn pé ṣé nísìnyí ṣe máa sọ pé mo fẹ́ gbowó lọ́wọ́ politician when I had the opportunity láti gbowó lọ́wọ́ Akérédolú ní 2018 ìsinmi ṣe máa sọ pé mo fẹ́ gbowó nígbà tí mo lè gbowó lọ́wọ́ bàbá Elizade mo délé ẹ̀ ni bàbá yẹn nífẹ̀ẹ́ mi àwọn bàbá dáadáa a kàn sọ fún gbogbo wọn pé ẹjẹ́ àjọ dáwọ́ bò ẹjẹ́ àjọ ṣe ẹ̀gbọ́n mi náà nìyẹn ẹni tó ní project yẹn ló dé fìlà blue gbogbo wọn náà lọ bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ lẹ́yìn nǹkan bá mi sọ àní máa sọ lórí social media àwọn kan ṣiṣẹ́ underground abáfẹ́fẹ́ kan ṣiṣẹ́ underground ní Koiki ẹ̀bá lọ sí ọ̀kan ṣiṣẹ́ underground I went to Ondo State mo ò lè sọ pé torí pé ṣèbí àti mọ́mí wa kan fọdọ ológun jà ṣèbí láàrin ìrìn àjò lọ́lọ́ ní ká tó kẹ́ni wá join but èmi ti lọ sí state wọn láti lọ bá wọn promote state wọn bọ́ọ̀dẹ̀ sanwó fún mi gbogbo ẹni mo fi sọ ní bíbá wọ́n sanwó fún mi ọ̀fẹ́ ni mo lọ do àwọn lọ fún wa lóòótẹ́ àwọn dẹ̀ lọ fi mọ́tò gbé wa lọ fi mọ́tò gbé mi padà but ẹ mọ̀ pé tíyàn bá wà as a diaspora tó bá lọlé tó dẹ̀ wà nínú mídíà tó dẹ̀ rí nǹkan téèyàn fẹ́ ṣe bí ṣe pẹ̀lú wọn náà mo ṣe pẹ̀lú Captain John ọmọ Anambra State ní Captain John ọmọ South East ǹjẹ́ kò sí ara ní Koiki Chelsea ní Ìgbòho máa wá fẹ́ gbowó lọ́wọ́ ìwọ ló máa mọ̀ pé Ìgbòho fẹ́ gbowó lọ́wọ́ politician nígbà tí Ìgbòho ní access sí politician before Yorùbá nation ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ fún ẹ̀yin kéékèèké tẹ́ kan máa ń jáwọ́ nínú program tẹ́ ẹ̀ ní understanding kankan pé ẹ farabalẹ̀ mo kí bàbá Oyèwọlé ibi tá à ń lọ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá òun ló dùn jù àmọ́ ẹjẹ́ agbọ́n tí bàbá ìfẹ́ sọ lórí security vote bàbá mi Oyèwọlé sọ pé yes ṣé òkè kan sọ pé wọ́n lọ òkè Femi Bright ló sọ pé yes àwọn ti gbọ́ nípa security vote ni kí ló ń pè ní security vote what is the purpose ẹjẹ́ agbọ́n tí senior advocate of Nigeria Robert Clark máa sọ níbí báyìí.
Has no basis in the Constitution. They are illegally accepting security votes without constitutional.
Wọ́n gba security vote without the constitution. Constitution yìí náà ni Akérédolú ń pariwo lé nísìnyí mọ́mí wa Comfort Ológunjà. Mo kí n torí ẹ̀yin ni gómìnà yín ni. Ẹ rí i pé Akérédolú ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ nísìnyí. Ó ní 1999 constitution ó ti reduce gbogbo ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà to pathetic beggars. Àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń gbé yẹ̀wò lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan nínú ẹ̀ láti mú tínkà jáde àwọn òyìnbó ńláńlá ti jáde nínú program lẹ́nìí kábíyèsí lẹ́dùnmarè. Ó ní there will be no end to the misery of the people unless the basic law was tinkered with to reposition the country to prepare for production of goods and services. If not, sorry, what was up with Tinubu, I pray that it's going to work as you think it.
Provisions. Security votes was brought in by the military government. Because being a military governor, he needed security votes to start looking at people who are going to topple their government by war.
Now, ẹ lọ wo yìí tí mo ṣe ní aago 5 láàárọ̀ ẹ̀. Mo sọ pé nígbà táwọn military wà níbẹ̀, mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀lú military. Mo ní they were so powerful that lẹ́ni nísìn, àyàwá ṣì ń já fáwọn military. Ìdí táyàwá ṣe ń já ni pé because wọ́n ti bà psyche wa jẹ́, wọ́n ti bà ayé jẹ́ gan. Wọ́n ti disturb brain wa, and that is why okay, ministry ti bá gbọ́. Tẹ́mi bá jókòó sí bíbá nísìn tí mo wọ àwọn kámọ̀ mi ti máa ń wọ̀ yẹn. Àwọn kámọ̀ mi ti máa ń dé. Tí wọ́n bá dérú ẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà, problem ló máa jẹ́. Nítorí pé òyìnbó tó kó wa papọ̀, wọ́n allow èmi kémi wọ kámọ̀ nílùú yìí. Kí ló dé tí ó dẹ̀ láwọn adúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run Azeez kò ní bàjẹ́ fún ẹ. Ọlọ́run àbá ń dúró tiẹ̀ òkú palẹ̀ mọ́. So ṣó wá rí pé military ló dá ọ̀rọ̀ security vote sílẹ̀. Ẹ ṣe bákẹ́ǹtì. Military ló dá ọ̀rọ̀ security vote sílẹ̀. They are the criminals. Àwọn ni wọ́n fún wa ní problem lẹ́ni tí a fi ń sọ fẹ́yìn èèyàn wa pé ẹ jẹ́ a fi Nàìjíríà sílẹ̀. Ẹni náà, ẹni Kóìkì, ìwọ ò ṣe jẹ́ kí Tinubu débẹ̀ dáná. Tó bá wá débẹ̀, gbogbo àjọ máa wà lórí ọwọ́ kan náà. Okay, Tinubu dẹ̀ ti wá débẹ̀ nìyẹn, a ti agree. Àmọ́ ǹjẹ́ Tinubu máa lè ṣe as much? Àwọn picture kan wà tí mo fẹ́ fi wọ̀nyí èèyàn wa nísìnyí, má bínú pé a ti slow down. Èmi mo wà lórí program, ojú ò kan mi náà, but tá bá lọ over 3 hours náà, ẹ má bínú èyí tẹ́ wà nílé ni. Mo pàdé Ọ̀ṣọ́bà ní London ní 2019, July precisely. Gbogbo wọn ni mo mọ̀. But níta kan sọ ni pé why tí wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ tó pọ̀? Why tí wọ́n gbóhùn sókè? Why? Kí ló dé ìyà ń jẹ wá náà? Ẹ wá ń fi owó security vote. Àwọn kan wá ní ká máa tẹ̀lé Fúlàní wọnú igbó tí àkó nǹkan náà ọmọ tó máa lọ kó tó máa tẹ̀lé wọn. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin Àgbẹ̀kọ̀yà. Mo dẹ̀ kí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ OPC. Ẹ̀yin tèmi. Ibi báyìí ni international platform. I am not here to condemn any other platform. But pé òun sọ pé òun wábi tí o ti máa ní understanding Yorùbá nation from the international perspective. Bàbẹ́ ibi báyìí ló ti máa gbọ́. Wàá gbọ́ dáadáa. Torí pé iṣẹ́ tèmi ń ṣe ẹ̀bùn ni. Kò ń ṣe pé dẹ̀nsẹ̀ ẹ̀bùn ni. Mo sọ fún ẹ pé built in, ọmọ tó ń pè ní built in, kọ́ build nǹkan in, òun lè ní gbé dání. Èmi ti gbà pé eléyìí tájọ́ ń fà yìí, fight to finish, òun la gbé dání. A máa fight ẹ̀ so that we can survive. Because wọ́n ò fẹ́ jẹ́ ká survive. Wọ́n ò fẹ́ jẹ́ ká survive. And that is why they are doing everything. Wọ́n ti kówó jẹ nílẹ̀ yẹn o. Àwọn kan ń gba security vote tí kò wà accountable. Àrísọ sí yẹn. Ìyẹn ò important àbí? Okay. Máa wo àwọn àwòrán yẹn díẹ̀díẹ̀ ṣe ń gbé bọ̀. That is what and the kind of network. Torí pé èmi àti Akérédolú nìyẹn. Mọ́mí mi Comfort Ológunjà, èmi àti gọ́vnà yín nìyẹn. That was in 2018. Kámẹ́rà kì í parọ́. Ilé òun ṣe photoshop. Wọ́n ṣe lọ edit. Tó fi pé mo mọ tí mo lè kùn sí létí. Èmi tèmi rí bẹ́yẹn. Tó mọ orúkọ tá a bá sọ ni. Tó bá yẹ pé mo fẹ́ gba owó gidi. Tèmi náà máa sọ pé ẹ jẹ́ káwọn àbá yín ṣe mídíà tó máa gbé standard tí ó jágbàjàgbà tẹ̀ ń ṣe lọ níbí báyìí. But like I always say, tàbá ti bí wọ́n ní ìbéèrè. Sórí gbogbo wọn níbẹ̀ yẹn. Can you see that? Èmi àti Ọ̀ṣọ́bà nìyẹn. Ọ̀ṣọ́bà, the former governor ní London nìyẹn o bàbá tó ń wò yẹn bàbá lápárí òun ní Uganda president ó ti wà bẹ́ẹ̀ tipẹ́ mo níjọ́ òun ló máa lọ oníkèmí tún máa wọ̀rí ṣọmọ pé òun ló bá wọn parí ìjà ní Sudan máa tán ìwò yìí it's been there in Uganda mo dẹ̀ lọ́rẹ̀ẹ́ kan tí family friend wa ọmọ Uganda kò tó fẹ́ kan náà ọmọ family wa ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ fẹ́yìntẹ́ wà lé pé it is not about mouth forget it the 1999 constitution tó bá jẹ́ ti sílẹ̀ we going nowhere ni mo sọ nowhere là ń lọ so we gonna go back ọkọ̀ mọ́mọ́ lọ kó gba àwọn pictures yẹn so kẹ́ lè máa rí wọ́n tí wọ́n bá ẹ bá ní gba àwọn nẹ́tíwọ́ọ̀kì ṣọ́mọ̀ ìbéèrè yìí náà lè máa sọ pé your network is your net worth mo kí n grandma Ilé Ajayi. So let's go back to Robert Clark while you continue to see those images behind you there.
Okay, cool. So they allow them that money so that they could be paying spies to report any coup.
Okay, Mr. Abiodun Ola.
Now, the civilians inherited it without the constitutional provision. When Imo State was doing it,
ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹ́gbọ́n bíbá yẹ wọ̀ pé Imo State ní Okorocha olè the same owó tí Imo State bá gbà ní security board òun náà ló likely pé kí Akérédolú gbà ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wa ń sọ pé káwọn máa káwọn ọmọ sínú igbó tí àníkọ̀tà máa fún wọn tàbádẹ́ nìkan dáwó wá ní kí lọ́ọ́ fowó ṣe kí la Akérédolú ń fowó security board ṣe ẹ ṣe gan ní gbọ́n ìtẹ́wà àtẹ̀yìn silent listeners wa.
Here's something on your channel. The commissioner said Okorocha released 4 billion of his security.
4 billion ni wọ́n ní Okorocha release of his security board. Do you know how much is 4 billion? Ṣé o mọ ẹ̀dá ń pè ní 4 billion ṣá? Òfin ìpòwó kékeré ní 4 billion. 4 billion is a lot of money. Mo kí n Jàmó 419 ẹ̀ka àbọ̀ sórí ètò. Show_7 mo kí n.
To enable them to use it in building schools. Let us even agree that 4 billion is the minimum.
4 billion is the minimum. Can I multiply it by all the 36 states?
When you multiply 4 billion by 36 every year for the past 17 years, you see what money has been going into the pockets of these governments, and they don't account to anybody.
Nobody accounts for it. So you can see why people like us are now saying, okay, Akérédolú, we are happy that you are now talking. Like I said, this is a conversation I'm lórí more and more. Mo kí gbogbo wa pé odò àkókò gbé wá la máa ń sọ kò ní gbé ọ̀dàlẹ̀. Yorùbá nation tá à ń sọ yìí. Èyí tẹ́ ń béèrè pé Koiki ìjọ́ ló máa wáyé. Bí ti ṣe sọ láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ lọ gbọ́ program tààrọ̀ ẹ̀ tí mo ṣe. Ó dà pé mo ṣe street one kan. Analysis yẹn English ni mo fi ṣe. Tẹ́ bá lè farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ fi gbọ́. Ṣorí pé double camera ní gbogbo ẹ̀ lénìí. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń filẹ̀ báyìí. Ṣorí òyìnbó tí oníkèmí máa wọ ilé ní bíbá tí wọ́n jẹ́ kí wọ́n wọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà. Ìjẹ́ wọ́n béèrè lọ́wọ́ òyìnbó yẹn pé kí ló dé tí Koiki tí àjọjọ́ ọmọ Nàìjíríà tí òun lè dé fìlà sójà ní London or England àbáwọn tó wà ní other African àbáwọn tó wà ní Amẹ́ríkà kí ló dé tó lè dé fìlà yẹn tèmi ò lè dérú fìlà báyìí. It's all because still in the same society. Ẹ ṣé Mr. Ọlá Ajíbọ́lá. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà nílé ìfẹ́ ta nísìnyí ẹ lè understand it. Tọ́tà àbá nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí yín ni èmi ò ní lọ sóńdó ní 2018. Ṣé mo pọ̀ mọ̀ mi ní 2018? Àwọn tó mọ̀ mí yàtọ̀ because stage oríṣiríṣi làwọn èèyàn fi mọ̀ yàn. Wàá dúpẹ́ fún Ìgbòho Òòṣà tó tún jẹ́ kí irú ilé tá à ń ṣe pé kọ́ mọ̀ wá torí pé òun ló la gbogbo wa lójú. But I have been around before Igboho and I have taken that risk láti dé Ondo state. Ẹlòmíì ò tí kúrò nínú kò tí ẹlòmíì ò tí lọ sí state mìíràn tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá ó dẹ̀ jẹ́ diaspora tó ti ń lọlé kí ló fẹ́ lọ ṣe níbẹ̀ ṣé ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú máa náà fẹ́ lọ nísìn but àwọn òrò yẹn àwa lọ sóńdó. I wanted to travel to a lot of states. Ààrí funding nígbà yẹn ni sọ fún ìpè tó bá yẹ pé mo fẹ́ ṣe kánnikánní màá mọ tí máa sọ fún Akérédolú tó dẹ̀ máa release nothing less than 5 million fún mi wọ́n mọ tí máa sọ fún. tó bá dẹ̀ sọ pé àwọn fún mi lówó látijọ́ ta ti ń ṣe program báyìí wọ́n jáde I met him. Kò ń ṣe pé lórí platform, you know. At least you can see there. Ṣé rí pé kò sí security? Ìyàtọ̀ èmi àti àwọn journalist tó wà nílé nìyẹn. Torí scale tèmi gbéra mi sí. Ó tẹ̀ ṣe kú picture kan tí mo ti mú jáde. Ẹ jẹ́ mú picture yẹn jáde ká tó máa lọ. Ìyẹn sí lára picture tí mo ti put out nísìnyí. Èyí tẹ́ wà nílé, ìwọ wá fi ṣírò ààrẹ pé tó bá jẹ́ pé ìwọ náà ló ní. Ìyẹn la ṣe ń sọ pé ìtẹ́ ń sọ pé Ìgbòho ṣe kinní kan. Tó mọ̀ pé èmi náà ní network before Yorùbá nation. Àbọ̀rọ̀ mo yẹ kó wá wo irú ìtí Ìgbòho ní. Ṣé mọ̀ pé Ìgbòho tó wá ní ju irú èmi lọ. Imagine tí ṣìfù ní. Èmi tí mo jẹ́ ọmọ kékeré báyìí. Wo irú àwọn nẹ́tíwọ́ọ̀kì tó wà lọ́wọ́ mi. Wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ pé your network is your net worth. Ẹ̀mí àlòwò nísàlẹ̀ yìí. Sanusi bẹ́ẹ̀ ni tó bá mi dán pè lẹ́míà. Sanusi nígbà tó wá sí London mo sọ fún yín pé wọ́n ò sanwó fún mi fún project. Àǹtí mi tó gba project yẹn ó sì wà ní London dọ́là. £1 mo gbà pé mo lọ kò ń jẹ́ pọ́fẹ́ pé wọ́n ti sọ pé wọ́n fún wa lówó because inú Nigerian High Commission ni mo wà. Ni wọ́n pè mí pé ibo ni mo wà mo ní mo wà ní High Commission mo ń ṣe project kan lọ́wọ́ níbẹ̀. Tí bá ní project mo lọ cover as a media person. And he did a lot of voluntary work for the Nigerian High Commission in London. So many tí mo gbowó tí mo gbà kódà mo fẹ́ lé ní pé drink nìkan la mu níbẹ̀. Wọ́n mọ̀ mí dáadáa within the Nigerian society ní Níbà. Kò ń ṣe pé mo fi ń dẹnu. Inú ibẹ̀ ni mo wà lọ pè mí pé Sanusi wà around. Wọ́n ń ṣe program kan pé ṣé mo lè wá bá wọn cover. It's meant to be paid for. But I never got paid. But nígbà tí bá upload the pictures sórí media tí mo gbé sórí Facebook, Koiki àti Emir, bọ̀bọ̀ yìí ó ti jẹ pay bàjẹ́. Mo sọ fún yín pé Bọ́lá Ṣàgáyà wà lórí, wọ́n ń dápara wọn àti Bọ́lá Ṣàgáyà níjọ́ yẹn. Wọn àti ọ̀rẹ́ gidi ní Sanusi tẹ̀ ń wò yìí. Pàdí gidi lòun àti Bọ́lá Ṣàgáyà. Pàdí gidi ẹ mọ̀ from the conversation. Because Bọ́lá Ṣàgáyà flew to London for this event. Ó rà pé Sanusi fúnra rẹ̀ gan yàtọ̀ sí pé ó ń lọ Nàìjíríà, London ló base nísìn. Lára alẹ́ tó ti rà sí London. He was a former governor, former emir. So imagine kéékèèké táwa kọ̀ rọra ní lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Tá a bára wa jẹ́. Ṣé ìwọ nísìn tó ń wò wá? Tá à ń sọ fún pé tó wá point finger sí irú àwọn bàbá Akíntóyè ẹ̀rọ onírú network táwọn bàbá yẹn ní lọ́wọ́. Ìdílé ṣe ń sọ fáwọn gọ́vnà ni pé ẹ gbá àpọ̀ tá à ń sọ a lè dúpẹ́ pé Akérédolú ti ń sọ̀rọ̀ because the same thing tèmi sọ lòun náà ń sọ wọ́n pé Ọ̀ṣọ́bà náà máa sọ̀rọ̀ and the rest a mọ̀ pé Málà ni Emir kò ní sọ anything and the other one bí a ta bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìjà òun á bá máa ṣe intervention. So that is how far I can go. Èmi náà ní láti lọ rest. It's been a long day already. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Mo kí Àlùkà ẹ kú iṣẹ́ takuntakun. Odò àgbéwà kò ní gbé ọ̀dàlẹ̀. Mo kí bàbá wa Tóyìn. Olúnúgà. Ẹ ṣe gan ni ọjọ́ yẹn. These are my own network. Wọ́n mú torí network yẹn kí n bára mi jẹ́. Ṣé wọ́n máa bára ẹ jẹ́ tó bá pò wọ́n lórí network lọ́wọ́? Ọ̀pọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Ọ̀pọ̀. Ní London, ní Nàìjíríà, all over the world. Ṣáwọn òyìnbó dé. But bára wa jẹ́ nítorí pé tó bá yẹ kó mo ti bára mi jẹ́ ni. Mo ń sọ fún ìyàwó mi ní oríṣiríṣi rìsíìtì, invoice lọ́mọ máa fi sórí social media pé Koiki tó ti gbowó lọ́wọ́ wọn. Wọ́n ò rí kankan mú jáde. Wọ́n ò rẹ́ni tì mú jáde látọdún méjì láti wà nínú àjò. Kò tí ì sẹ́ni scandal. Wọ́n kàn fi borúkọ wa jẹ́ ó ti kówó jẹ́ ó ti kówó jẹ́. Ṣé ìwọ ọmọ owó tí mo lè gbà lọ́wọ́ gọ́vnà tí bá ti gbowó lọ́wọ́ wọn màmá aládì wọn ni mo sọ́rí. Tí bá ti ń gbowó lọ́wọ́ Sanusi gbogbo tí mò ń sọ ìmọ̀ nílé sọ. Tí bá ti ń gbowó lọ́wọ́ Ọ̀ṣọ́bà wọ́n sanwó fún mi fún project mo lọ ṣe fún Ọ̀ṣọ́bà yìí mo lè parọ́. I was paid because mo lọ bá wọn take pictures. Wọ́n dẹ̀ náà wọ́n fẹ́ pictures anytime. It was an exclusive. We say a lot of money just in a little bit. So this is why integrity yẹn ẹ lè beat ẹ. Ẹni káwọn náà kó tiwọn jáde. "24 years nílùú kan òròpó easy tó bá yẹ pé mi náà fẹ́ ṣe bí wọ̀bìà èyí ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ pé mo kọ́lé ní Nàìjíríà èmi á ti gbalẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ Akérédolú ni tí máa tún ní òun ló máa kọ́ wàláì. Imagine irú talent brain tí mo fi ń sọ̀rọ̀ brain power tí mo fi ń sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ kí wọ́n fi lo influence ẹ̀. Àwọn eléyìí wọ́n ọ̀gbọ́n gbogbo wọn wọ́n ṣe ń rí yẹn wọ́n ọ̀gbọ́n rárá wàláì. Mo sọ fún yín pé nígbà tí ìyàwó Abdulfatai, the former governor of Kwara State, tó wá sí London tí mo lọ bá bọ̀bọ̀ tí ó jẹ́ former mayor Brent òun ni ó ń bá kíní ṣiṣẹ́ nísìnyí òun ni chief secretary ìyẹn my uncle yẹn Councillor Ernest òun ló ń ṣe chief secretary ìkan náà governor ní South East mo rántí tó ń ṣe nínú wọn because I've seen him with them. Nígbà tó ìyàwó governor yín wá sí London ó pè mí ó ti fún mi ní ẹ̀tọ́ pé kí n jọ pé ó nídìí kí wọ́n ṣe special interview fún ọ́fíìsì òun ní Brent yẹn ló wà níwájú Wembley area ló ń pè ní Brent. Nígbà tí mo débẹ̀ do you meet Mr. Koiki kankan nítorí mọ̀ ẹ̀ ó ṣàn sọ ìbọn pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́ aṣáṣe interview yẹn take picture and all that. Nígbà tó wá fẹ́ máa lọ wọ́n á rí pé wọ́n ń pe Uber ẹ̀rẹ̀ mọ́ àwọn nàpa pé ẹ̀ ní mọ́tò ni ó ní àní mọ́tò ó ní kò sí ẹni tó máa drive ẹ̀ ni ó ní àbẹ́ máa ráyè láti máa gbé wa tí bá ti wà ní London wàláì bó ṣe sọ fún mi nìyẹn ó ní àbẹ́ yẹn ní license because she lives there before kó tó di pé ọkọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ governor tó fi lọ sí state but àwọn ọmọ wọn bíbẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ó ní àwọn ọmọ yẹn ráyè láti máa gbé wa káàkiri ó ní bọ̀ tó bá yẹ pé mo ní time anytime táwọn bá wà ní London káwọn gbé mọ́tò yẹn fún mi kí n máa fi wá gbé àwọn kí n máa drive wọn kiri ní London. Imagine tó bá yẹ pé mo ti lọ accept irú kan bẹ́ẹ̀ tó bá yẹ pé mo ṣe bí wọ̀bíà wúrú in as much as I was going to show people today something different I end up showing you more than what I was not going to show you ní broadcast bá ṣe láàárọ̀ yìí fáwọn tó bá ti wo broadcast mo ṣe láàárọ̀ yìí license mi wà ní bíbá ṣèbí ké àwọn ló máa ṣe insurance màá dẹ̀ máa gun BM wọn káàkiri tó bá dẹ̀ ti dé sí London màá lọ páàkì sí Heathrow màá bá wọn fa báàgì màá bá fa kódà á lè fẹ́ gbé báàgì lé mi lọ́wọ́ á rán mi níṣẹ́ tí ó lè fẹ́ ní kí n máa fọ pátá sínú ilé òun kí n máa bá wọn fọ pàǹtò that's what they will do wọ́n máa sọ̀yàn díwèrè àǹkọ́ kí ló máa ṣe so gbogbo eléyìí tí mo sọ yìí nísìnyí I will not be able to say it and I'm talking about bí ọ̀rọ̀ 3 years ago nìyẹn or bí 4 years ní tẹ̀rántí mo ní mo busy gan mo ní èmi náà pọ́nra mi lé mo ní mo busy gan mo ní náà mo busy tó bá jẹ́wọ́ ni kí ló rò kó tí gómìnà bá sọ fún mi pé kó máa bọ̀ níná Oǹdó lẹ́nu ìwọ tó wò mí tí ò ní lọ. That is why they've disrespected a lot of you because wọ́n value yín but àwa gbéra wa nítorí pé inú owó lọ bí èmi náà sí kò ń ṣe pé mo fi ń dẹnu and we are always satisfied. So I pray that ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa nílé Ọlọ́run ọba Elédùmarè á bá wa wà pẹ̀lú yín títí tí ìrìn àjò yẹn máa fi dé ibi tá a fẹ́ kó dé. Diplomacy will continue. Àti sọ pé ní YSDM lórí platform a máa help wọn to continue to raise awareness especially for people to go and support not just support financially support. Let's subscribe síbẹ̀. I will do some programs around that in the next few days. This as far I can go. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí. Èmi ló kàn bàbá èmi ló kàn sí bàbá. Ṣé pà ní máa dárúkọ sí bàbá mọ́ báyìí? Ó dàbí àná ṣá. Kó tó lè kúrò lẹ́nu wa sí bàbá. So èmi ló kàn làwọn máa dárúkọ nísìn. I get used to that. Mo ní láti lọ wá picture Tinubu tí mo máa lò lẹ́yìn mi. Màá lọ wo Google. Màá decide picture tí a máa fi picture tó ń bá release fún presidency kọ́lá àwọn máa lò àwọn máa wá ìta àwọn máa lò ẹ rò pé ní tí mo máa ń lò fún ti Buhari ṣé bàbá ẹ jẹ́ gbé picture nǹkan tó máa lọ ẹ mọ̀ pé ní picture of ṣé bàbá kan tí mo rí tí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń lò so mo gbọ́dọ̀ lọ wá ti mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n wa Peter George mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa lọ́tún lọ́sì King of the North ní Buhari àìtí mọ̀ níta máa lò fún èmi ló kàn báyìí bí akadẹ̀sì kọ́kọ́ ní sùúrù ká wo ìgbésẹ̀ tó fi àwọn step tó fi gbé torí mo láwọn bad picture of Tinubu kan ti máa lọ gbé jáde fún ẹgbẹ́ pé wàá máa rí lójoojúmọ́ báyìí inú á máa bí ẹ wàá kàn máa fọ́ fóònù ẹ nínú ilé ni kò sí tó kàn mí ẹ ti Buhari lélẹ̀ sọ máa rò pé tí olójọ́ ọmọ Yorùbá sí tó kàn mí pẹ̀lú yẹn ẹ̀yin ni ẹ̀ ń kó wọn jẹ o èmi ò kọ́ anybody jẹ́nu gbogbo wọn aláì èmi tó mi jẹ o ìdúpẹ́ fọlọ́run kò pọ̀ lóòótọ́ but mo wà satisfied torí King of the North then your picture ilé kúrò was unblocked ṣẹ́yìn tiwa àní jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ sódà ká tún ní time láti gba calls ní àwọn tábà sí nínú program ilẹ̀ lọ ṣe àwọn kan mí gbogbo ẹ̀ tó bá ní Koiki thank you so much details wà lọ́ọ́ ti fi síta yẹn ẹ support wa mo ní mo fẹ́ ṣe fundraising fúnra mi I will still put that on hold for another few more days only reason but ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ti support mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín but definitely I will let us know as quickly as possible when we are getting closer say baba lele so ibi tá máa rí mọ́ nìyẹn for now but again bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìyá mi Wúrà Adé Beauty King of the South so máa láti wá picture Tinubu náà ti máa design dáadáa ṣé bàbá a máa mí ṣe bàbá gan abẹ́ẹ̀ ni mí ṣe bàbá Buhari ti sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀yà gbọ́n yẹn lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ká tó máa lọ wá sí òfin rẹ̀.
Buhari ti sọ̀rọ̀ àti gbọ́ 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 ó tún yá ṣe bàbá ṣe Buhari ṣe bàbá ṣe Buhari ṣe bàbá ṣe Buhari.
àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà ní gbàgbé Buhari láyé ẹ̀dá kan làwọn yẹn Ọlọ́run. Thank you so much everyone. Rugged Man MF ó mà tó jọ́ mẹ́ta my brother I'm sure you've been so busy with work. mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí o ẹ jẹ́ ká máa play anthem ká máa lọ sọ̀rọ̀ kí èmi náà lọ bí tẹ̀sùn kí n wà lórí bed because mo máa ń like afternoon sleep. Thank you so much everyone Waris Jinadu and the rest of you ti bá ní time you know I always say that but I never come back I don't know why torí àwọn ọmọ Oòduà náà ni mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni see you the other time keep notification yẹn you know Koiki comes out anytime and àwọn ọmọ wa náà wọ́n máa ń jáde frequently. We are working on a lot of things to keep the platform running 24/7. At the Uk intro during the campaign rally, thinking they will be good. Oh, what a disappointment for 8 years. Bobby Moses in 2015 March, I went to meet Buhari and Yemi at the Uk intro. Ẹgbà yẹn tó bá ń wá nǹkan tó bá ń wá nǹkan nígbà yẹn. Ìyàwó mi tó bá fẹ́ dá wà lálẹ́ nínú ilé. A ní ṣé bàbá, mo ní mo fẹ́ gbọ́ ṣé bàbá nínú ilé mọ́sẹ̀. Tó bá ti fẹ́ yọ mí lẹ́nu. A ní ṣé Buhari ṣé bàbá mo fẹ́ gbọ́ Buhari mọ́. Ṣèyí tẹ́ ń support Tinubu ní London. Bára wa jà mo sọ pé àwọn kan wà ní barber shop wọn máa ń bínú sí Koiki ilẹ̀ ń bínú sí mi fún bínú sí mi náà ìbámu Yorùbá kan náà ní gbogbo wa bí mi ṣe ń fẹ́ ó yàtọ̀ sí bí Tinubu ṣe fẹ́. Let's check out now. Thank you so much. I play anthem and we call it a day. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí from the Mixlr to the Instagram to the Twitter. Elédùmarè ọba àjọkẹ́ ayé àṣàkẹ́ ọ̀run tó ní wá tó dálẹ̀ Yorùbá tó mọ̀ pé ibi tá a wà kọ́ ló yẹ ká wà nísìn òun náà ló máa yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ àwọn tó nílẹ̀ wọ́n ń bínú lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nígbà tí ìbínú wọn bá máa fi jáde akọjá bó ṣe yẹ. Buhari Jinadu jọ ó ju ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ méjì wá èmi náà jí padà Akérédolú Àkẹ́tì bàbá àgbàlagbà ẹ̀rí kó chọ́bì ní bíbá ẹ̀rí bí mi ṣe rí mẹ́rin stature mi ò tẹ̀ change ẹ̀rí pàṣọ tí mo wọ̀ náà ni wọ́n ṣì ń wọ̀ kọ́lọ́ bá ń dúró tí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi tó ń run the program. There's a lot of opportunity irú àwọn lè wait wàláì London ti sú mi kò ń ṣe kékeré kí owó ẹ̀ tẹ̀ dàrú kátẹ̀ wàá dàrú mọ́sàlẹ̀ ẹ̀ will move on kó máa pariwo sí ẹ̀ o.
ẹ má fojú ko eruku ata abẹ́ ń bẹ eruku ata tí o ti fojú ko bàbá wà gbogbo Nàìjíríà ẹ má fojú ko ata ẹ lójú.
Ọmọ Oòduà. Ọ̀gá Fúlàní ló jẹ́ o. Yorùbá nation yìí ti gbogbo wa ni. Kó má gbọ́dọ̀ bàjẹ́. Torí kò sílùú mìíràn.
Life is so funny. You come with nothing, then fight for everything, and later leave everything and go back with empty hand. God is powerful. Life is so funny. You come with nothing, then fight for everything, and later leave everything and go back with empty hand. God is powerful.
We are bringing the word closer to your doorstep, and that is how far we can take it this afternoon. And it will be very long. Bye for now.